It's not like we say anything off the air. We don't want anybody to hear on the air.
Could you imagine?
Depends.
Anyway, hey everybody, come on in. See you out there.
Could you imagine that? Like you send in like something that's super important, and the attachment just doesn't make it, like at all. Like the email makes it, the words make it. But that's it.
I've had artwork disappear that I could have sworn I attached to it. I just figured I was too tired or whatever and didn't attach it.
Yeah. You remember when the Postal Service wanted a quarter for every email you sent?
Don't say that on the air. Jesus Christ, dude. What are you doing? Giving Google ideas.
Oh, they did. No, they did. They wanted, the Postal Service wanted some money for every email. They figured it's mail, and even though they had nothing, it's true. I thought it was a joke when I heard it. Even though they had nothing to do with it, they felt that they should have gotten broke off.
They're taking
you know, it's
business.
funny. That sounds like what's going on in Florida right now, except with their Brightline high-speed train that they're building there. That's going from Miami to Tampa. And they're having a problem in Orlando because the state governments, they want, I guess, like a stipend to make up for the fact that for all the cars, this train is going to take off the road in order to allow them to build through Orlando. And it's a whole thing. So I guess it's kind of the same thing where it's like, the post office wants money for emails because you're not sending it through the mail.
What else are they going to do? Tax Disney?
They're trying. It's like, it seems that it's one of these groups that's run by like Universal and SeaWorld and whatnot, and they're trying to like kind of cock block this because the Brightliner is supposed to have a station specifically for Disney. So of course all the other theme parks are, ganging up trying to say, no, you have to run the train through this, and if you run the train then you owe the city government's money, and and this, that, and the other thing. So
the mouse didn't say, I am the government.
No, because it's like, they're going up against Universal, so it's their arch nemesis.
Everybody wants their taste.
Yes, exactly.
Luke, you're on the air, by the way, Luke.
All right, I see that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Luke.
Even though we're pouring coffee, come on in, folks. We see you out there.
I was told, listen, when I was down there in Orlando, I was told, hey, listen, they kind of run things around here. The mouse.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like they run the city. It's all Disney. It's like there's no like. So I was like, wow, I thought that cat was much bigger for a second like that.
Right, yeah, no, yeah.
Is there a panther behind you?
Monster cat.
He's just on top of the camera.
Do not screw with the mouse.
They don't call it Disney World for nothing.
Right, yeah.
That's right.
But the other thing, it's very strange down there. That's why when Disney didn't reopen, the state government freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Disney tends to make their own rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Russ says this better be good. I stopped listening to the Eagles for this.
Mm-hmm. Nina says,
"Welcome to the Hotel California."
I think Glenn Fry can wait for a few minutes, for a few hours.
Nina says she wants coffee now.
Yeah. The Eagles will still be there when we get done.
The Eagles will always be there.
Always.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere.
Thank God.
When I was in Orlando, though, with the whole Disney situation, I was told that when Disney started expanding, people who own small, parcels of land around there, when they knew it was Disney coming, they gang up and say, "Yep, we're raising the price."
Yeah, that was the issue out in California when Walt himself was buying up land, and he couldn't afford everything anyway at the time. And when he moved to Florida, because by the way, Florida was anti-union, that's why he moved to Florida.
Mr. Conservative, Conservative.
He created the Reedy Creek District, which is their incorporated city, to buy up land so nobody would know it was him. And to this day, the Reedy Creek district still runs Disney. Technically, they're their own city. Yeah.
Yeah, they said that so people were jumping up and they were raising the prices like,
Yeah.
oh well, for this land I want $5 million. So what Disney is now doing is they're creating little small shell companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what they're doing.
Aren't, and they're like, yeah, we want to buy your land. We're just they'll actually send people like, yeah, we just want to buy your land here. We're gonna put up a nice little...
golly gee. Yeah. No. The Trump Corporation does the same thing when they're buying up real estate. They do it through shell corporations, so you don't know who it is really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got a golly gee email yesterday. That was great.
They want to buy your property?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, yeah, no, I get those
I think they wanted to destroy it more than anything.
Well, because sometimes the land is more valuable than the house on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy, don't I know that.
Yeah. But yeah, I get a lot of that too here.
Oh, I bet you do. Well, you might not have it much anymore. It seems that.
Oh, no, it's constant. It's constant here.
Still?
Yeah, it's constant.
Wow.
Well, it's like, the real estate in New York and the tri-state area is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So and the thing is though, I live in an area where the only way you can really move into it is that you have to wait for the original owners to die.
Yeah.
Like there are no vacancies that usually, like there's a house that recently that was like like two houses that were owned by the same guy. Like the guy passed like decades ago and his family left the houses empty, and they finally sold the two houses, and the two houses were like together they were going for like $4 million.
Wow.
Like I don't even know who can afford that. Mainly
for the property, probably.
No. The houses, the houses were remodeled and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. That's the thing too. In my area, we have like brick houses, which is extremely rare in the area. So those go for a premium. Nobody tears those houses down.
It took a while to get past the straw and the stick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, actually, that's what they're building these houses out of now. Now it's like everything is plywood and linoleum and
plywood. That shit's precious.
Not a whole lot of people doing building right now.
Yeah.
Plywood is precious, man. You got plywood. Somebody you can get all the ladies. He's got plywood. Go to his house.
I was reading about that lumber is like shot through the roof or something.
Yeah, you wouldn't take it seriously, but I've got friends that had a $3,000 estimate that turned into an $11,000.
Wow, just for the materials.
Oh yeah.
My wife wanted me to take her someplace expensive for dinner, so we grabbed some McDonald's and went over to Home Depot.
There you go. There you go. Romantic evening.
No
Russ,
one's
you're in the mix,
tool
Russ.
section.
No one's wanted wood this much since Pamela Anderson in the 90s.
Done. Oh.
See, even Lena says, timber. Timber. Rest in peace, Kentaro Miura.
Mayora? Kentaro Miura?
I don't even know how to say that.
Hey, Russ.
Good morning, Russ.
That's a name that's a name I would have to look up.
Yeah.
I don't recognize the.
I told Russ I had a funny message the other day when we had on Tuesday night after the show. So Wednesday morning around, I woke up. Hey, why was Russ doing a funny American accent your entire show Tuesday?
Oh,
and I'm like,
what?
Yeah, and I'm like, what accent was Russ doing? He wasn't using his accent. He wasn't speaking regularly. And I'm like, Russ wasn't on the show Tuesday. And I'm looking around, and then I found out they thought that Brian was Russ. But maybe a quick glance, because listen, you racist, not all white people look alike.
Amen.
All you round-eye whiteys. What
Wait,
are you like?
what? Jake, what? The creator of BuZz just passed?
Oh,
I just got through the first volume. What the heck? He's not even done.
Kentaro Miura, is a Japanese manga artist, best known for his acclaimed dark fantasy manga Berserk.
Oh.
Began serialization in '89 and continued until his death as of May 2021. Berserk had over 50 million copies in circulation.
Wow.
making it one of the best-selling manga series of all time. In 2002, Miura received the Tezuki Osamu Cultural Prize.
No.
He passed on the 6th of May.
The 6th of May.
Yep, very sorry to hear that. It might take him a while to announce it with family and stuff. So
No.
that is very sad news indeed.
The 6th of May? Jeez, how long
That's-
does it take news to get? I mean,
That's
Well,
what
it's from
Wikipedia
Japan.
says. No, I'm telling
Oh.
you, they probably didn't realize it until the family made an official announcement, probably long
Yeah.
after he was
Yeah.
memorialized. So it cripes. How many millions? 50 million all over the world. The funeral would have been bombarded by people
Oh yeah.
and mourners.
I think
They probably kept it quiet until he was memorialized and buried.
yeah, I listen, guys. If
I'm
something
very
happens,
sorry to hear.
I want immediate media coverage. If I roll my ankle, I want it on the front page of IndieVault. If I pass, I want. But I guess they said news released yesterday. So wow, that's
Yeah,
I guess the family has that right though.
they do. They do it, and they should take it if they want it. Absolutely. Very sorry to hear.
Oh man.
Some things deserve privacy. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now those books, by the way, good luck finding them.
Oh no,
that's what-
I bet that exactly the opposite will happen. You're going to find those books at every bookstore for a while.
Okay, now I'm committed
50 million
to collecting
copies.
the
They're
whole
not.
thing.
Their estate isn't going to stop that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. Well, but the thing is, though, but it depends on whether Dark Horse is going to continue.
It's been going since '89. They probably
true.
have a large body of material to run
Yeah.
through. How many volumes of material are there, Jake? Do you know?
I know that the Dark Horse, the large collections, I think that there are 9. There's 9 of these giant volumes, and I just got through the first one. There's so far, according to Dark Horse, there's 40 volumes, I guess, of the manga-sized ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 6 volumes of the deluxe editions.
Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just read about this creator, Berserk, aged 54. Yeah, always sorry to
Oh
hear.
God,
Sorry.
I've only got a year left.
Sorry,
Good
Imperium.
Lord.
Well, if you that gray beard told it all.
That's so young. What
Yeah,
did he die
yeah,
of
it is.
again?
Yeah,
Say
what,
what?
did they say what he passed of?
I didn't see it.
They generally don't put that information down. I don't
He
think.
died of being attacked by a parrot.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
they-
exactly. Yeah.
That's how
Blew out
Daphne's
his
gonna go
eardrums.
Parrot attacks are becoming just so commonplace now.
That's how Daphne's
It needs to be talked about. There needs to be
Aortic
some
dissection.
legislation about.
Wait a
parrot
second. I
attacks.
mean, I know I'm not fully awake here, but did you say a parrot attacked him?
No.
No.
It's a joke.
No,
he
The
died-
parrot went off.
Yeah.
He died as a result of acute aortic dissection.
It's the same
No.
thing that
Ew,
Michael
he had like
Ringo
a heart
died of.
attack.
No.
Sounds like he had heart surgery that he didn't survive, right?
We
Aortic
should-
dissection. It's the same thing that Mike Ringo died of, which freaked me out because
wow.
it apparently can happen like to anybody.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Will Eisner died of? That he had heart surgery and then he died like a couple of days later or something?
Yeah. It's basically it's like Matt Imperium Road said it's like basically a heart attack. Yeah, it's like, but it's really like that aortic dissection. I remember looking it up because I was like, wait, what is that?
Because dissection doesn't sound promising.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right?
and you think Russ would have the inside scoop? I mean, the name of his comic is Only Death Can Save Us. You think he'd have the inside scoop on like on like living forever?
No. He can save you. Doesn't mean you're going to live forever.
Right, yeah, that's 2 different things. Yeah. Uh-huh.
50 million copies, though. Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's
Is
His that,
You know,
his that work is
and it's
beyond
kind of-
amazing, and the story he crafted is one of the fundamental and most influential pieces of media. So much of what I've consumed has been his works, and his works influenced by him, like Dark Souls. Rest in peace. Oh, that's a tweet from a guy named Zimmzilla, 99.
Friend of yours?
Must be probably
Ew,
related.
yeah. So what an aortic dissection is, a tear in the inner layer of the large blood vessel branching off of the heart, the aorta. So yeah, pretty much he had a heart attack. But the thing is, though, it's usually common in men in their 60s and 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it was more than an attack. It was a tearing in the in the muscle or the weak spot of that aorta.
Yeah.
I can't find people online. I'm sorry. I was trying to send out emails and Twitter. Listen, everybody, get on Facebook. Get on Facebook. I'm tired of searching for people with different social medias. Oh, this person isn't on Facebook. They're on Instagram, but they're not on Twitter. But they're on Vero. But no, I'm not going to track you down. Everybody get on Facebook. Let's get uniform, damn it.
No, you don't want a uniform internet. It's getting ugly enough as it is right now.
I just want ease of use. That's all.
I'm really annoyed at the friggin' adult art purges that are happening now. Like eBay just did it. There's some other platforms. I mean, Patreon is acting up again.
Why can't you just sell what you want to sell?
I would. Exactly.
Where do these people get off telling you what you can and can't sell?
They keep blaming the credit card companies for it, but even the credit card companies are like going, "Oh, we have nothing to do with that." And then Apple, if you want to be on their app, on their platform, it's like your app can't link to anything that might be related to adult material. So everyone bends over backwards to be on the Apple store.
Especially if it's adult material.
Yeah. So it's like,
They're probably thinking that it's accessible to kids. What this is going to do is encourage another jump.
It's more, you're not advertiser friendly. It's more
that could be too. Yeah.
It's more that the kids are just an excuse. It's really about catering to advertisers.
But what has that got to do with selling things?
You tell me.
I don't understand. I mean, like Disney are not advertising on a site or on a page where you sell a picture of a pair of boobies.
Right, yeah, exactly. Last I checked, Patreon wasn't getting Disney money, but they friggin' banned me for 2 weeks for showing a titty. So it's like, not me personally, but
she means
that was in your drawing. That was in your drawing.
Yeah, an illustrated titty, not one of
let's
illustrated titty.
Definitely Lage busts out.
Sun's out, tits out.
A whole lot of listeners got real excited real quick. They're like, "Oh, where's that Patreon at?"
Yeah, exactly. People are running.
Now you're gonna, if you see a bump in your Patreon numbers,
right,
you'll know
really.
why. Kitty. Hey, kitty.
I'm really thinking about starting an OnlyFans just to try to sell this comic book.
Yeah, maybe.
I think
I've seriously considered that too for a little bit, but then it's like the last thing I need is another platform to keep control on.
You want to hit the intro, Randy?
I've been trying to interrupt for the last 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We're rolling the intro. Then we'll intro ourselves and then go into the breakfast buzz. Thanks for listening, everybody.
How dare you?
Shutting off the coffee now as soon as I get up to it. Here we are.
Here we go.
There we are. Hey, everybody.
There we are.
Yeah.
Come on in. We are here.
Now people can put faces to the ridiculous stuff that comes out of them.
Yeah. And right off the bat, we have to warn everybody, we are TVMA DLSV, and Daphne is in her studio today, not her basement. So that smoke detector you hear is probably her parrot.
Yes, exactly. If you hear
attacking some stranger.
Right there.
Yeah, if you hear that, a garbage truck, a screaming guy, that's him. So,
your parrot makes that noise?
That's
impressive.
No, it only makes that noise when there's a fire.
I was going to say that screaming guy isn't Russ.
Right, yeah.
I don't have the deepest of voices, but I don't think even I could reach that note.
Yeah. So I'll try to mute as quick as possible. There's some particular obnoxious ones that he likes to do, so I'll try to mute as quickly as possible.
Anybody who's watching this on the internet is quite at home with obnoxious.
Yeah, well, yes.
Welcome, all you radio listeners. We love each and every one of you out there.
We love you so much.
So appreciate you. I had I was friended yesterday by a nuclear physicist.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was amazing. I sat there and read his credentials. Dude, I know where you're from. I like, and he's making all these comic posts. That's awesome, guy. Cool.
sometimes people really are rocket scientists and stuff and enjoy this.
Sometimes, yes.
I never actually get those friend requests. Like, they say they're those things, but they're not really those things.
Well, how many of them said they're comic book creators on that
Well,
night?
how many of them say that they're these hot chicks from Russia looking for love in all in the United States?
Oh, hot chicks.
I always go through and vet everyone. So if you don't get accepted, if you try to friend me right off the bat, put some comic stuff in your timeline so that I know you're into comics or you listen to Indie Volt. I will definitely friend you.
Now all the scammers like, that's it. We need pictures of comic books.
Comic book stuff, yes.
Go find me pictures of the Batman. They're gonna all sign J. Jonah Jameson. I need pictures of Spider-Man. That's what they're doing.
In communist Russia, everyone is Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Quickly get the art out there. I want the art in the pictures of who befriending Zimmerman or his bank account.
I was looking at his page. I actually had to show it to the wife. I'm like, hey, wow, look at this guy.
Boy, he's
holy crap. Yeah.
Overachiever.
I'm gonna set a bad example for my kid and eat chocolate in the morning. It's gonna be awesome.
Even if half of these are real, and then I go through and some of it's in Russian, so you kind of know.
That's so cool.
And
you
then
be careful. You got to be careful befriending the Russians, man. You won't be able to run for office.
Oh, I'm so ashamed.
Yeah, I can see Randy running for office up there where he lives, in Burton.
I told the wife. The wife doesn't want me to enter politics. She said I'd only last a term at best. That's if I even get in. She said, you speak your mind too much.
Oh, because she means
you don't want any of that now, do you?
Right? Yeah, really.
I said, only 2 terms, and I could, be set for life. Up here,
and the thing is, though, it's like politics is meant for people like us to run and fuck shit up on our own level.
You want to build a what? Get the fuck out of here.
Right,
Vote for me. I will fuck shit up.
Yeah. At least you're just putting it out there.
I love democracy.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
If only we had it.
That was
a bit serious.
I was going to run on the platform, but I can't do any yours.
And up here, we have a long history, even in the little town that I'm in, which is just outside of Flint, of your typical political clown show. That's the only way to describe it. I mean, where I'm at is in Burton, next to Flint, and the city is shaped like an L because Flint kept coming in and taking land, and GM would set up a plant, and they'd take that land, and they were getting bigger and bigger, and finally Burton had to become a city. And once they grabbed they were able to grab what property was left. It's like a large L that goes right around the bottom corner of Flint. So there's like 2 different sides to Burton. There's a south side and a east side.
Pretty much the way the whole
pretty
thing
crazy.
Can be like summed up is that people who should be running for office have the sense not to, and the people who do run for office should be nowhere near it.
Yeah,
exactly.
In communist Russia, Superman is Red Sun.
I'm also getting friend requests from Indian and Arab guys who then PM me with messages like, "Hey, beautiful." Yeah, that's what they do. She's off to work. Nina, have a great day at work. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Take care, Nina.
Yeah, that's Lola gets those too. Or she gets calls straight up at like 3 a.m.
You can block those,
Yeah,
Well,
she likes to keep it on because sometimes I contact her through Facebook Messenger.
Oh.
So it's
But
I think
the phone.
yeah. Like I like doing it for some reasons. It's sometimes like I call her, she won't answer the phone, but she'll hear that Facebook Messenger go off. I think because it's obnoxious. While her ringer on her phone is like a little melody. It's like she's not gonna listen to that. She's listening for that. It's become part of her mindset. But if I can
Pavlov's
yeah.
Facebook, yeah.
I call them on Facebook, she'll answer it and what? Bring home Oreos. That's what.
Well, that's an important call. You can't miss that one.
No. I called you 4 times for Oreos. Now you're gonna have to go to Walgreens and pay $3 extra. That's right. I'm gonna ask. Guys,
Jake says, please take breaks between work and go
Yeah,
for
go
a
for
walk every day. Yeah, I do.
you know,
yeah.
I got some and I'm gonna buy another one. But I get on my exercise bike for like 30 minutes and just move my legs. I'm not walking outside. There's people out there.
Yeah.
But
All those people. Oof.
yeah. Hey,
Crazy people.
They're peopling.
I honestly, I was out walking and had a guy stop me just a couple days ago and ask about a character that I haven't printed in like 8 or 9 years.
Lord.
Wow.
Hey,
Recognized you?
how's the Fool going? And I'm like, what? I says, are you serious? I says, I printed him. He was a big fan of the Flint Comics paper. And he says, out of all of the characters that you printed in there, I remember the Fool. I said, I'm cutting those out of the paper and putting them all together in a book for my kids. And I'm like, holy crap, dude, thank you.
That's
Never get tired of hearing that.
Awesomeness.
See, that's how it starts, Randy. They chop it. Hey, how's your comic character? The next thing you know, they kidnapped you and put you in their house and are making you write stories just for them.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And then they take a sledgehammer to your ankles and you try
That's
to run away.
That's right.
I'm your #1 fan.
Yeah. That's how it starts. So if anybody caught Geekgasm last night, then you should take penicillin. But if in fact you've seen my me at the end, I got a little testy.
Yeah, you were being very specific.
Yeah. And there it is. The Standards and Practices called.
Standards and Practices.
They've reached out to the UK on the Standards and Practices.
It's time to talk to Russ about his car warranty.
Yeah. And what happened was, and the reason why I've been so I was vocal
beyond the drugs and the sickness.
Beyond the drugs is because look, we got an email here to Indie Volt on Tuesday. You guys don't cover indie books. Stop dunking on Marvel and DC. And my thing was, look, the name of the channel is Indie Volt. The reason why Indie. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like, okay, look, guys. It's called Indie Volt. The reason why Indie Volt exists is because I felt that indie comics weren't getting a fair enough representation in the market. That you can't. How many of you honestly have sent press releases or whatever it is to a larger media company and you were ignored?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had one of them outright say, "Oh, I personally don't like furry books, so I'm not going to cover your book." And it's like, look, you're the one claiming that you're some kind of like journalistic something on comics. So what does that have to do with anything? Yeah.
It's like, right. So that's why this was created. And I don't know if somebody talked to someone's third cousin and said, if you guys are going to be mean to Marvel and DC, they're never going to hire you. You know what?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
And
they're never going to hire me anyway.
And by the way, Marvel's not going to hire you, and they're not going to support your book. They're never going. You don't want to support your book. They're going to support your book. Buy some ad space.
They're not even supporting their own books.
If they do hire you, you ain't going to make a lot of money.
But what kind of argument is that? That it's like, oh, if you talk bad about these multi-billion-dollar conglomerates, they're not going to hire you. Like that was a goal. I grew up, it's like that I found Rocket Raccoon and go, oh, I want to work for Marvel, as opposed to saying, I want to make this myself. Yeah. That's what happened.
I remember that being a threat. I remember that being a threat to some of the news sites quite a while ago, that they were told by the mainstream if they didn't treat them well, that they would not get press releases or any type of favoritism.
I believe, because that's what Disney was doing to movie critics.
Yeah.
That it's like, if you don't give us good reviews for our movies, I guess you don't need press passes to our premieres.
Yeah.
But it just encouraged a lot of these sites to stop trying to do any kind of remotely serious journalism and just be like Daphne's room back there, parrots for the mainstream, and just copy their press releases and stick them out there as articles.
But
I went through and got a George Perez cover when I was working on putting together my paper for the 50th cover for my paper, and I sent press releases around to everybody. Everybody ignored it completely, and I figured, I got a George Perez cover. At least somebody will cover this and point out the fact I was doing a unique format in my local area, moving 10,000 copies of a paper, out to advertise. Well, granted, it was advertiser supported, but I had obviously solid readers, people that still remember this stuff to this day, even though I haven't put a paper out in over 2 years. No peep out of the comic media at all.
I mean, the fact that they would even like that's how specific it is. Like, it's not even like they're ignoring George Perez.
Yeah.
Because it's not Wonder Woman. So all of a sudden, George Perez, who's brilliant, is now just he's just tossed to the side. It's like, well, you're not. Well, now it doesn't matter. Now it doesn't matter who you are.
There's maybe a handful of sites, if that, on the internet that are worthwhile going to for any kind of information about the comic book industry. And to the person that wrote in and said, why don't you cover more mainstream books? The clue is in the name, you dolt. Okay? It's got Indie Vault. If you don't want to listen about indie stuff, fine, go and find somewhere else. Go and look at those other websites. There are a hand. But, think about what you're saying before you say it. And that would be a really good rule for 100% of you out there on the internet. Think about what you're saying. Think about what you're asking for. Think about how you're portraying yourself to other people. And stop complaining. Just get on and do something good.
So, are you proud of the noise that's coming out of the hole in your face? I
was.
Really think about it.
Trico says, how's the food going, Randy? Which one? I deal with them all day. Critical Blast.
That's why I don't get into politics.
Yeah, exactly.
Critical Blast says, oh man, I just finished my oatmeal. Oh well, I had some post-breakfast buzz. Appreciate it.
There you go.
Damien says indie comic coverage has been a zero-sum game for a long time.
Long time. Yep.
Pop says, I'm not really worried about pissing off Marvel, DC, Diamond, Kickstarter, Indiegogo. More concerned with promoting good projects.
Yep.
And Damien also says, hello from Wound Care. I've been there.
Hello.
I've been there. By the end of the week, I'll probably be back there again.
May your stay be blessedly short.
Yeah.
I had no idea there was such a thing as a wound specialist until I was sent to one. Yeah.
I've become quite he's
got frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, familiar with them.
He has a clinic named after him.
He's got the membership card.
Yeah, he's actually gotten past the holy shit, are those gunshots? At the wound specialist.
Yeah, because I've gotten I joke about I say, can I get a wing? And they're like, well, I say, look, can I at least get a hallway? A room dedicated to me by now? Give me something.
Put a plate on the door in the bathroom.
Yeah, something. But my thing was this. Look, there's a lot of people telling you, shame on you for talking about not liking Marvel DC Comics. Oh. You know what? Hey, here, give me a second here.
And that's the true travesty here, because we complain about them because we loved them.
Yeah.
Back when they were great.
And here's the thing.
And solid. And
I have had my moment where I cried for the death of those publishers. Well, I've had my moment. That was the moment where I realized I didn't need to work for them. I don't, and not only that, I don't particularly want to work with them the way that they are at the moment.
Yeah.
And don't get me messed up with ideology and all that kind of crap. It's because of the way that they treat customers that I don't particularly want to work for them at the moment.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, I stopped pitching. I stopped pitching back in 2003 when I walked up to a Marvel editor with a proposal. They read it and looked at it and go, "Do we actually own this character?"
But here's my thing.
And I went, "Okay,
I'm done." Thing, guys. Here's the thing. Not only do I dunk on them, and this is what I've said, and I put it to the test. Not only do I dunk on them, I still buy them every Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I'm in my comic shop. And I'm picking the books up.
Well, because here's the thing. You can be critical of something you love.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can have two separate thoughts in your brain at the same time.
But here's how they want some people it's being framed like, oh well, if you've abandoned them, quit talking about them. I haven't abandoned them. I still buy Spider-Man. I still buy X-Men. I still buy these books.
Is that they're upset that you're not a constant stand for them. Like, look, I'm a stand for the Disney company, but man, do I talk shit about them? You know.
Why can't I say what I want to say anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
I challenge them to do the same, though. I challenge. I went on my face. I said, "Hey, you know what? Let's see your weekly spreads. I'll show mine. You show yours.
Yeah.
Let's see your. Let me see what you're buying every week. If this shit is so good and I'm being rude, let me see what you're buying. Oh, that's right. You can't fucking afford comics.
But you see, you're allowed to. That's harsh. You're allowed to have an opinion. Do you know what I mean? You're allowed to say what you think, and I still go and buy back issues from Marvel and DC. I'm still buying that stuff, and the occasional thing that comes out that I like the look of. So, for instance, I have a whole collection of Hulk up here that I bought recently, and it's. You still, you're allowed to form an opinion on these things, and to have a discussion about them. And yes, you're absolutely right. We're complaining because we love them so much.
Yeah,
okay, it's all born out of our adoration for the medium.
Just sit next to me.
What happened is that people have attached consumerism to their personality.
Yeah.
So if you're being critical of Marvel, somehow it translates in their brain that you're attacking them personally.
Don't make us pull out our Ollie's hulls.
Right.
Well,
I've got boxes.
Just bury me in Marvel Conan comics.
But the thing is, that's not even from Ollie's. That was from just going to the local comic shop. Yeah. That's me going in the shop, still buying the stuff. Now, I'm not making this statement because I just, I called 4 comic shops that I'm friendly with in my area. And I said, hey, they know me. Out of the blue, I called them. I said, how's business? And they're like, you're not going to put this on IndieVote, are you? And I said, no. I just want to know how's business. And they told me business is it's weak. We're surviving on back issues. I said, okay.
Scary. It's scary. It's not weak. It's scary.
What are you surviving?
For these retailers out there right now?
You mean like last week? They said, no, we're surviving on early 2000s
and before
90 stuff. Yeah. We're selling CGC, or we're selling old books we got marked up for 30, 40, $50. That's what we're moving. We're moving Funko Pop. We're moving action figures.
Still moving the occasional magic card.
Yeah.
The non-sports card market has boomed.
Yeah, I got another friend. He went heavy in the he was lucky. He went heavy in the Todd McFarlane figures, Spawn figures. For people who missed out, he marked up in his store at a premium because they missed out. So okay, you didn't want to give Todd that money. You'll give me $40 extra,
right?
And that's what he's done.
And again, why did he do that? It's because those figures are quality. All of that stuff is quality. It's like the silver stuff and the bronze stuff. It's all quality. Nowadays, the only thing that gets marked up is a stray variant cover that you have to buy 25. Your retailer has to buy 25 of to get one copy of.
I wonder something. And this is just me.
It's not the events that are making things go up in price.
I got a weird brain, but let me ask you guys this. I went to a basketball game in we were in Ohio, and we were in oh gosh, I forget what city it was now, but it was a basketball game, and it was the Cavaliers. So yeah, it was Cleveland, yeah, and I was visiting my uncle, and they happened to be playing the Pistons. Now here I am, a Pistons fan from Michigan, grew up in Detroit, and on the little Tron they have, when the little piston ball comes bouncing out, making all these silly sounds, and then the Cavalier thing rolls out, hits him with a sledgehammer, lands on him, grinds on him, and then their crowd explodes. Yeah. And here I am, Piston fan. Now I took my look. Oh man, that sucks. Hey, screw you guys. I guarantee you, these pH balanced MFers now are going to sit there and say, oh my God, I was offended by your display on the screen. That was my team. How dare you? I demand equality. It's Who gives a F? You are all man babies. Oh, I'm gonna be nice to Marvel because they're gonna hire me one day. No,
they're not.
I've talked to them. They don't want you.
Here's the thing. I know some of these guys that are complaining, and they're not good enough.
I was at a convention.
It's on Twitter
next to a guy who was saying that the only reason he never got a job at Marvel was because they still kept hiring old has-beens like Frank Miller and Bernie Wrightson, who was sitting several tables away from him. And I was like,
wow.
"Oh, bro,
no,
that's not the case. I've seen your work. That's not the case."
And again, there's sorry to break your rant here, Varian, but there's something else to point out, though, is everybody's likes and tastes all depend upon the context of their exposure. Now, we just had somebody very important in the art form pass. I had no idea who they were. I've never read any of the work. No idea at all. I will find out because I've seen how much he sold and how important that work was. I will now dig up Berserk and take a look at it. But from a lot of people's perspective, and I've talked to a lot of these people. You've been on the show. We've talked to some, or I've been on other podcasts and talked to these idiots that are just enamored by the current Marvel and DC product. But it's because when you grow up eating constant shit, it's that level that is your judge or taste.
The bar is set really low.
The bar is set. Yeah, the bar is set to what you're accustomed to.
Right. And funny.
So, how dare you pick on current Marvel? They're doing phenomenal stuff. Well, they're doing phenomenal stuff from your supposed perspective.
But there are some good
not
things
from
out
our
there.
perspective, because we had steak. We had, full 7-course meals here. We were instructed even how to eat them growing up. And you've been wallowing in crap for the last decade. And now something comes out that smells or tastes a little better than the crap that you've been in. Sorry, it's still not fucking steak.
My thing is, I do not believe. Don't get me wrong, I buy comics weekly. I buy them. I buy this shit, and I come home and I read it, and I'm like, this is horrible. But you know what? I'm back there next week buying more shit, and that's what I'm saying. Are you? Why you love it so much? Are you in that store even monthly? Are you in there buying stuff? And if so, let's see your haul. Let's see it week by week. Let's see the receipts. Let's see the actual receipts. You can't show them because you don't buy them. You're parroting what someone else said, and the person told them to say it is promising them a job. Hey, if you're nice, I'll give you a job. I'll give you. How many times have we seen journalists transfer to?
I don't think it's even then, because it's like, how many jobs do they expect to get from Marvel or DC? I mean, they're firing everybody. What makes them think they're going to get hired?
They don't think about that.
I don't think it has anything to do with being hired. I think it's like this really bizarre belief that it's like, oh, you're telling them their dad is stupid. And we're like going, well, yes, technically we are, but your dad is cool on certain levels too. You need to chill.
They think about it like this. Because
your dad might be stupid, son, but your grandpa, he was really good.
He's a real man.
Your grandpa's dad, real man. Yeah.
I've seen it time and time again where these journalists transfer over to writing comics somehow, and they'll work for a site, and then it's like this incestuous relationship. Because I've seen
that's a lot of
journalists go to writers become journalists, and they just cycle the same people back and forward. I just want people to be honest, and don't tell me that I can't be critical of stuff, because I'm going to ask you to prove it. Prove to me that because while you're coming at me saying, "Oh, you guys that email, you guys don't read this stuff," I do read it. I read it every week. My bill for comics was $130 a week. Actually, $160 at its tops.
Which is amazing because he didn't buy my book.
No.
Right?
I didn't buy that. I didn't buy that.
He's waiting for the Arrow editions. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm free.
Our stuff, Varian makes it, he gets it for Liberty.
I'm sorry. Was there not enough? Was there not enough cross hatching in there for you?
Not enough cross hatching. No variant covers.
If you need me, I'll be in the warehouse. I'm spending the week there.
Russ, here's what you needed to do. You needed to put some weird messed up agenda in there. You needed to dumb down your writing to like a 5th grade level, and then you needed to do some like corporate dead-eyed, heartless, soulless type art.
Oh my God, you're breaking my heart here.
Excellent, and then we could sell 50,000 copies to the comic book shops and no one could buy it.
And
say that.
Really? I mean, really, it's like that description you just gave like hit me at a visceral level. It's like, oh my God.
But am I wrong?
No,
absolutely not. That's what makes it painful.
The trouble. Yeah,
that's what makes it painful.
You guys don't understand. That can save us is a social commentary on the social political geosphere of insurance. What he's saying is that Deaf can save us because we don't have adequate insurance coverage. That's what he's saying, and you guys are too. You're not woke enough.
I swear to God, I think
he's polyamorous. I'm sure
we can do that for all our books. That we can come up with some bullshit pseudo woke type of description for it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should do that as a challenge. Like how absolutely corporate speak can we
how woke are you?
Our work.
Yeah. My book,
Arrow Comics 4.0 starts up in August, folks.
Yeah. You know what?
Boobicorns are a result of the corporate environment.
Right? Yeah.
I've broken my book, The Begotten, down. I've broken that down to just about 2 people who missed their fathers. That's all it is. When I broke it down, and it's like, and then I thought about, is that me?
I can break down my book as to like, home and family is not what you think it is.
Yeah.
Creators Outlet says 130 a week, but no way he was going to pay for shipping, Russ.
USA. How dare Russ try to shame me for buying American comics? How dare he? Matter of fact,
that VAT tax coming to haunt you.
I'll be right back.
Now, I am like Varian. I do spend money on mainstream books, even some of the newer ones. Like there are some things in my pull list, and I keep trying. And as long as I'm a consumer and I'm buying, I can talk crap about them, and it's not good. This stuff is not. It's subpar. And why do you think so many pros are leaving and going into the indie market to make their own stuff?
Yeah. Yep.
Apart from the pay.
Because they have editors up there that are probably half as young as they are, telling them what to do in the wrong direction, that have no concept of what a proper funny book is. A proper, let alone story structure, let alone English, let alone, there have been numerous. This is why, what's his face, Diversity in Comics, Zach got into so much trouble, is because he started pointing out spelling errors, logistic errors that these editors should have been catching. And he was branded as every type of istanphobe out there possible because he was taking the time to critique the stuff that he loved. And this is an art form he's repeatedly said literally kept him sane while he was in the middle of the shit in Afghanistan.
Real quick, by the way, Russ Protocol 1. There it is. Thank you.
Oh my God, dude!
Massive cup of tea. That's huge. Look at it,
dude.
It's a massive pitcher of tea.
I'm dunking this tea in the water, Russ. How does it make you feel?
That's a mighty dark looking tea too, my friend.
It is. You know how many bags that is? Every time Russ says something, I put another bag on. Every day.
I don't want to talk about tea bags.
And he puts it in the microwave.
Oh no. No,
that's right.
No boiled kettle. No proper teapot. That's terrible.
I like my tea best.
Just the old Southern picture. Every time you besmirch me, I put another bag on there and tie it in there and sit it there and just watch. It's like a voodoo doll, but nothing happens to you. It's just my own pettiness. That's all. It's
you are a joy. I love it.
Trico says Varian is spilling the tea this morning.
Yeah.
I did spit a little bit of it. I did spit a little bit of it. I got to clean that up.
Flopping about.
Yeah, the wife's
No,
going to come in.
the thing is also, so it's, you know, and the thing is, so especially with the talk, you know, like connecting the death of the Berserk artist, because I don't remember his name. I'm shit with names. You know, it's like, and then it's like they have
Besides
also the nerve to get upset that manga is outselling their sweet little babies at Marvel and DC. And it's like, well, one, I mean, Marvel and DC they're a niche genre that's artificially propped up as the mainstream here. And then you have manga, which is this vast industry with every imaginable topic and genre and everything. Like, I can find anything I want to read in manga. It's literally telling me, you know, it's like, oh, like I made the joke that it's like, you know, the manga industry is like, oh, here, you can read as many comics as you want. American mainstream is like, oh, you can read as many comics as you want as long as it's Marvel and DC superheroes.
It just shows what they think of it, or what they think of the audience and their perceptions and their ability to read. You've had two examples. You've had Marvel that insist on putting lots of talking heads in and people talking around coffee shops and food as if a slice of life in the middle of the Avengers comic is going to make it any better, which is ridiculous. People are there for action. Okay. And then you've got Batman recently in DC, where they just thought they'd get some artist to do like a manga makeover of the book. Okay, and it isn't very good, to be perfectly honest.
Because it's all superficial.
And they just think that the manga art is what people are after.
Yeah.
It isn't. It isn't.
Yeah, let me say this. So I've seen a lot of arguments on Twitter about this, you know, where people will talk about manga versus US comics, and like, you know, and some people are like, they're two different markets, and they absolutely are. And the problem is exactly what Russ pointed out, that they're trying to copy that success by taking the art, or you know, next thing I think they're going to do is the aesthetic of it. The next thing you're going to see is they're going to start putting the comics in reverse, you know, so you have to read them backwards, because they don't understand what the problem is. Here's what the problem is. Manga makes stuff, and Daphne, you said it, they have something for everybody. There is, and the general readership will read manga. They're not comic fans, they're readers, and they're reading stories, not comics. That's the thing. And right now in the United States, comic fans aren't universally in love with what the big 2 or 3 or 5 are doing, right? So you can't even get comic readers like myself and the people in this on this panel right now to say, I want to go out and buy those books, let alone general readership who aren't comic fans but want to ingest good stories.
Yeah.
We will not see the success that manga has seen until we start to generate quality stories that can appeal to mass crowds and something for everybody.
Yeah.
You cannot keep breaking these characters down to these little niche groups that only appeal to certain people groups and you know, click off certain demographics. You have to expand things and create new characters, new stories, new outlets for those things. If you don't do that, you're gonna see what is happening right now with a lot of comic shops where they're struggling with those things. My local comic shop is doing great because he has toys and statues and indie books, tons of indie books.
And it's been an erosion that's been going on for 30 years. This is not a simple problem of, well, their stuff suddenly sucks. It's been an erosion for 30 years as the art form here in the States, or the industry, I guess you would call it, from a diamond in the mainstream, was whittled down to a very small demographic. And once that happened, that excluded such a larger demographic, they went out and tried to find their entertainment elsewhere. And I've taught cartooning in schools for many, many years, and I saw the female market jump to manga, Fruits Basket, Naruto, and all of that really quick, because that's the kind of entertainment they were looking for. And you try to get into it and you go, how has Marvel and DC sunk so low and chased off so many readers? At least 2 generations of female readership is gone. There are some out there. Luckily, I found one back when they were unicorns, and quickly, married them. But they have chased off so much of that market that these kids now run to the bookstores and buy the large volumes and read their entertainment in reverse in order to be entertained, because Marvel and DC has failed at their job. I sound like the Arrowverse Green Arrow. They have failed this art form.
Look,
and they ought to be ashamed of themselves.
But it's an industry thing as well, isn't it? I mean, the problem is if you don't put comic books in front of people, they don't know they're there. They don't buy them.
Well, they've explained that, yeah.
As much as I love comic book shops, the direct market and the direct market, if you take away the newsstand, people don't know they're there. You completely destroy any possibility of having a casual audience. But it's numbers. It comes down to numbers. Yeah. So there's a lot to be said about the content and what they've done to comics and what they're putting into comics and how they're being managed or mismanaged. Mm-hmm. But it goes like, I'm telling my grand to suck eggs, for Christ's sake, more than me. But it goes all the way back. It goes all the way back from taking those comics off shelves and outside the purview of the average person.
Yep.
And
away
so
from the drugstores.
If you've got a third of a billion, if you've got a third of a billion people in the United States, okay, and you don't put them in all the shops or as many shops as you can, then your market shrinks. Mm-hmm. It's pretty simple. And you add all that up. Yeah, there's a math in it. Yeah, and you add all that up to the fact that also the content is being badly mismanaged. And back in the day there were comics for all kinds of different people, and now for some reason it can only be for a very small number of demographics, instead of making comics for everybody and stopping people screaming at each other.
And anybody
you had to have a Brit tell us it was a numbers thing.
It's not just Japan. I had to go. I'm really into European comics now, and it's like when American comics look like this on the regular, maybe I'll take American comics more seriously.
Right, yeah.
And mind you, it's like this is neat. I mean, you can look. I was able to find something so niche and specific, it might as well be Coke Zero vanilla cherry flavor. It's like I literally found a comic that's just about Roman chariot racing. How specific can you get?
Right.
You can't get that here. You can't get that type of everything here. I mean, it's like, a lot of the things, we individually try to do something that books that we'd like to see, but it's like American comics in a whole is just, the industry as a whole is just a lot of people just trying to copy the Marvel and DC model. It's just like, well, it's like Batman. The current model. It's like Batman,
sell.
But different. It's like Superman, but different. And it's like, well, have you tried being really different? And you really have to like dig deep into independence in order to find, but you got to dig.
There was a comment that was made the other day, and it really upset me. And my friend Richard Embry kind of echoed it a little bit. Kind of that disgust for what the statement was. They said, if you don't think there's anything good in the mainstream right now, you're just not looking. So that's blaming the consumer once again.
Right. Yeah. I hate that phrase.
So now it's my responsibility to sift through their BS and pay $5 a book to find out what's good. That's their same argument for not supporting indie comics.
Yeah.
Well, it's not my responsibility to try to find out which one of those is good and spend all that money to get them shipped to me. Tit for tat. I'm going to the comic shop and I am buying. I've got a pull list. I'm not spending as much as Varian. Because I'm not Mr. Moneybags over here. I don't own my own company. Yeah, Mr. Trust Fund.
No, but I hate that thing. That's like, that it's like, oh, well, if you're not, I mean, it's like, look, I have no problem looking for stuff. I mean, I can go into a Barnes and Noble giant, like 5 stories worth of books and have no problem going hours through it, looking for something that I'm interested in. But it's like what Russ says, it's accessibility. If I have to go to a specific store and be at the mercy of what that store owner wants to put in his store, I'm not finding anything. I'm better off going to a Barnes and Noble and probably picking up the next volume of Berserk than trying to find, I don't know, something that's like, well, here's some Image Comics.
And I want to reiterate that my local shop does a great job of putting product out in front of you so that you can check it. One of my local shops does. They do a really good job. There's another one that's a little further away, does a really good job of it. But you're right. That's kind of the problem. You're at the whim of those things.
Yeah.
And there's a smaller independent, like you would consider them an indie publisher. They're kind of up and coming and rising. And at first I was so excited to see them that I took a shot on every book that they had. I bought tons of their books, and one by one I was disappointed with the story quality, with the art, with the storytelling, with the production. And now I see a book of theirs on the shelf and I don't give it a shot anymore.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. I just don't pick it up. Because I've already, unless it's by a creator that I know personally and I'm just going to support them, I don't buy their books because I've been let down by them. And that's what's happening with Marvel. That's what's happening with DC. I've stopped picking up those main titles because I unless the shop owner says, who reads all of the books, by the way, and he'll be like, that's a really good storyline. Like the Bat Who Laughs was really good. And so, I picked that up. And The Last Ronin is some pretty quality writing, and
that's the Turtles one.
Yeah. And so, so he goes through the books and he's like, yeah, this is good. And he's like, no, that one's not very good.
and The Last Ronin brought a friend of mine back to the comic shop weekly after he had given up. He'd stopped reading weekly comics. Around maybe right before the first Civil War. Put out.
No, Marvel. The Marvel
Civil War.
That's a literal. He wasn't being hyperbolic.
And The Last Ronin brought him back. Now he is only going in the store to pick up The Last Ronin. He's not getting anything else. He looks at X-Men, and congratulations, Marvel. Congratulations. He looks at it and says, "Oh no, that's not for me." That's what you told him. That's what you told him. Remember, you had your you
and anybody in the industry, especially at the big 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever, that says we didn't make these comics for you ought to be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah,
because they should have. They really should have.
You allow these creators to go out there and say that to the fan base.
Yep.
I didn't make this comic for you. I would have, if I was an editor up there, I would have shit bricks.
That'd have had them come into the office and we'd have had a sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Right. And
what are you saying?
What makes it stupid too when they say that about a corporate comic they're working on, that it's like, well, honey, I know it's not a passion project for you. You're just getting paid for it. So who are you making this book for?
But I mentioned this
for you either.
I mentioned this to someone earlier on.
I'm making it from a mortgage company.
They're not in. They are not. Disney, AT&T, Warner Brothers, whoever they are, the big companies are not in the business of making comics.
No,
that's not their primary business in any way. It's not even close to their primary business.
A major disappointment to me, because Feige took over the publishing end of it 6 months to a year ago, and that should have turned around.
But again, Feige doesn't give them.
No, they don't. The big guys don't care about.
It's not about. They don't
stuff.
care about comics. Okay.
Nope.
Comics. When comics were out on the shelves in front of millions of people, okay, you could have a business that could turn over millions of dollars by making comics. That doesn't exist currently. Until we put those comics back out on the shelves to a massive audience and get a percentage of that audience, ergo, do the math, you can actually make a lot of money out of it. Nobody gives a toss. Okay, the big companies do not care, and which means that even if you have talent that is there that utterly loves comics and loves the industry and loves the medium, they are a subset. And there is no direction from the top that says make great comics. Back in the day, 20, 30 years ago, the big companies were about making comics because they were everywhere prior to the direct market, and you could make a buttload of money out of it. It's the other way around now, which is why indie comics are better. We are more agile. You are going to get people that are about making comics, not about making T-shirts. Our sideline is a T-shirt or a mug.
Yeah.
Our sideline is getting you to buy a cap with our character on. That's not where we make our money. That's extras. What we're about is making comics. The big companies aren't about making comics anymore, which is why there is no passion from the top down. It's only at the very bottom layers, and even then, a lot of those people are just turning up because they want to get their way through to a production company or onto games or writing for some film company or something. It's not about comics for the big companies. It just isn't. It's not big enough. And that's why indie comics is where the next golden age is. That's where all the energy is and all the creativity.
It's almost a
simple.
step to get into that that next thing. Like, oh, I know, I'll do a comic about this current celebrity, and that will allow me to rub shoulders with this celebrity, who will then I can use to get into this company, and maybe I can make a couple of wrestling comics.
I saw a discussion on Thinking Critical yesterday, and they were talking about the fact that Image was making some rather bland comics at the moment, and they both had a point. They both had a point. One was saying, "Oh, well, that's because all they want to do is make these comics that are effectively pitches to I don't know, Netflix, and so they want to keep the budgets low." Yeah. Okay, and the other guy was saying, "Yeah, but these are comics. You want to keep the budgets high and then roll it back for when you make a movie, which is right." Yeah. But the problem is that's not why anybody's making comics at the moment. Okay, there's too many people on their way through the industry at the high end looking to make a Netflix deal or looking to make a production. When I draw my comic, and I'm sure Luke is exactly the same, and all of you are the same, all right? You put everything onto the page. You want it to be hard for that to be a budgetable item in a film. Okay, you want people to go, "Oh, look at this! This is great." And a lot of these comics just aren't doing it because it's easy to kind of make that storyboard. Again, storyboard artists should be ashamed of themselves if they're making comics in exactly the same way as they make storyboards, because they're two different things. They all have the same techniques, but they're two different approaches.
I seen a gentleman say. I seen a gentleman say, "Oh, he was from filming, from the film world, and I played in that world for a while, and I was told very early, hey, listen, you got to write for the budget you have." So when I was like, screw this, I'm gonna do comics. I accidentally brought that mentality in, like writing for the budget. So I started to push a lot of stuff back, and then I realized, like you said, wait a minute, I can do anything I want. I can make this explosion as big as it needs to be. I can destroy a whole city block. I can do this stuff, and you can't stop me. But the other thing,
yeah, no, for real.
They like when there was a comic creator who said, he was on the show, and I'm not gonna say the show, but you don't have to look hard to find it. He said, if you look at storyboards, they're nothing but comic books. That's all they are.
No, they're not.
And another creator there got
anybody who says they can't tell the difference is because they can't tell the difference.
The other creator got in his ass. He's like, "How? That's really offensive. How dare you?" And he got in the guy, and the guy's like, "Well, I'm sorry if I offended you." Blah, blah, blah. He was really, smarmy about it.
Yeah.
But it was like, they're not comics. I get that there may be some they're both drawn. They're both in panels.
That's like saying, well, it's like words on paper is just like a book.
Yeah. You bring the same set of skills. You bring the same skill set to both.
My wife hates it when I compare.
You have to have three-dimensionality in your head. You have to understand how a scene is set, and you need to make people look like people. Okay, there's a lot of shared skills. But the whole thing about storyboarding compared to, you're looking through a camera when you're storyboarding. Okay, That's not what you're doing when you're making comic book panels, you should be thinking about making the most exciting, visually dramatic panel you can. And a lot of the time, you couldn't do that with a camera.
I think the best thing you could do for a comic is make it unfilmable.
Yeah.
Again, this leans back to
work going, no, we can never make a film about this. And I'm go, good.
Again, this leans back to the last 20 years of erosion in the art form, especially here in the States in the mainstream, where everything has to be realistic.
Right.
And you go back and you look at if you want to really look at what the difference is between American comics and Japanese manga comics, manga is still not afraid to over exaggerate and go crazy.
Yeah.
And that's because you are when you're drawing on that board, it's up to you to get that emotion across, to get that the positioning across, and a lot of times in manga they intentionally over exaggerate, and it adds to the story, and it punches that emotion home. They have a whole set of icons over there we don't hardly use here in the States that drive that emotion home, and you don't.
Why? Because
that's sadly lacking here.
They're embedded in the culture of that art form.
Well, the art form's embedded in the culture,
exactly. Both ways. It goes both ways. And the people, the creators are about the story. Okay, they're about getting that across. And unfortunately, we've had a slow rise over the period of artwork trying to be realistic in American comics and British comics as well. And that doesn't help drive a story, because then you do end up getting to a beautiful piece of art that doesn't actually work as far as the story is concerned.
And not only
it becomes static.
Because Varian made a joke, but the thing is, though, I'm seeing this seriously. Oh, I gotta read that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, really, people actually put that out like it's a real criticism. Like they're looking at a comic or a book. It's like, oh, I gotta read that.
I want to
read,
not read.
Yes, you gotta read that.
I think
like what it is, like they don't want to put the effort, so they just want like this eye candy just shoved into their into their faces that they don't have to think about. That's why it's like there was that whole thing with Martin Scorsese. He wasn't saying that superhero movies was trash. He was saying that you can't allow that to dominate movies because you need other things. Dad Scorsese was telling you cannot constantly have candy for dinner.
Yeah. And look, a lot of those films, the other films, help to influence and frame what we do in comics anyway. So there might be that comic creator who goes to the movies, sees this other film and says, oh, you know what? I have a better idea than this. They do it as a comic. And now that person is inadvertently birthed the next generation of cinema because they had a cinematographer, a director of photography, a director who said, oh, I know exactly how to make this. Because how long ago did we, maybe some would say that it's still not filmable, but I think Alan Moore said to him, Watchmen was unfilmable. It was unfilmable.
Yeah,
it could not be filmed. And Zack Snyder said, hold my beer.
Right. But Alan Moore is still like, I told you it's unfilmable. It's
now unfilmable and unwatchable are two separate things. I personally like the Watchmen film. I do.
I thought it was great. I loved it. I'm not that big a fan of Moore's attitude, to be honest. He often downplays the very people that put him where he was.
Yeah,
and I don't think that's a good look. But I could never criticize his creative abilities. There's no doubt about that. And I really enjoyed the film. And in some ways, you could say, oh, well, look at the way the film followed the comic so brilliantly visually, because there were places where you thought, wow, that really is like a storyboard. Okay, and maybe that's where some people get mixed up. I don't know, but it wasn't. It wasn't like that in total. It was particular parts that mirrored what the comic was, and I believe that was because of a deep love of the source material from Snyder.
I just wish he hadn't fumbled the ending.
I remember Zack Snyder saying he passed on the project at first. He said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then he heard rumblings of what they were going to do. And he says, oh my God, they think they have a movie. They think they have it was going to actually they were trying to make a action film. And he said, wait, I'll do it just to keep it from being
screwed up. Too bad.
I'm a fan of the work, but even I can tell you that's not an action film.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine that, having to take a job just so it doesn't get messed up? Like, are you that passionate about anything? That's like, what, you're gonna do what? Like, I remember James O'Barr said he laughed during a call because they were like, yeah, when the Crow film was in turnaround, the very first one, he said, what do you think about casting Michael Jackson and making it a musical? And he laughed, and then they were all looking at him super serious, like, what? And he's like, you're not, they're not joking. Wow, they're not joking. They actually are considering casting Michael Jackson.
Well, Jeff Smith pulled Bone from one of the major studios because they wanted to put Britney Spears on the soundtrack, and he said no effing way. And he killed the entire project just for that. We almost had a Bone animated feature, and he said no way.
Some people just don't care about the soundtrack. Like, I do what you want the soundtrack. And then there are some people who say, I don't care what you do. I sell my property. You do what you want to do with it.
What?
I don't care.
Well, you kind of have what Eastman and Laird did, where it's like they just have like all these different iterations of the Turtles,
Yeah,
I think. Well, that's another thing. That's Nickelodeon.
I'm sorry to give IDW an idea, but that might actually make an incredibly good series to have them all cross over with one another.
Yeah, I mean the Turtles are uniquely in their own way recognizable, no matter how you put them out.
The cartoon did that, Randy.
Oh, did they?
The cartoon had all the different versions of the Turtle crossover.
Shows you how much I watch the cartoon.
Yeah,
twice now. Right when the Independence of the Turtles was going out, and then Nickelodeon did one, and it was pretty much almost the same thing, but they bring the comic book Turtles in, the 80s Turtles in, the 2000. It's really, and they brought the same voice actors back, which was kind of odd. It's kind of odd here, and except for the ones who, there were like a couple that weren't there.
Morally, dude.
Yeah. But
is it Corey Feldman, or was that just for the
movie? The first and the third movie. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Corey didn't come back for the second one, but he did come back for the third. That's how you know something happened in the movie. I'm not coming back for the sequel. Okay.
Right.
Then the third one, you're like, here, I'm back. Back. Right. I went out and learned my lesson.
I need that money.
I thought it was Johnny Nitro. I am not.
Here's one for the mortgage company.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I really do like Feldman.
Yeah.
That dude's had a hard life. He got screwed up quite a bit from the film industry.
Hollywood is not easy. Hollywood is not easy.
Yeah. I when I was doing modeling and acting as a kid, I remember, and I think these kids nowadays, or this adults nowadays, cannot handle the type of criticism that I received. Yeah. I mean, I remember. I'm 8 years old, and I'm being told I'm auditioning for Cop and a Half, and I get told, you're just not black enough.
Yeah, and you got
and I dealt with it. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're just not street. We need somebody a little bit more hood, And I remember the lady told me,
somebody who fits more into the white audience stereotype.
Yeah, she told me. She said, "You look like the smart friend. You don't look like the kid that's gonna get in trouble." And I remember being mad. Like, my parents like, see, I don't like a bug. You may, and like, this is what I get for having a proper dental plan, and
Mom, Dad, why'd you take such care of me, man?
Yeah. If you would have let me go outside
for a little,
I hate you.
Yeah, exactly. I hate today.
and then you remember you're having a complex over a Cop and a Half.
Yeah. It's like that would have made me. If only I would have got that part in Cop and a Half, life would be different.
Was that good television or bad television? I have no idea.
Wasn't that a Schwarzenegger movie?
It was.
I'm pretty sure it was.
It was so bad. Cop and a Half. That was Kindergarten Cop. Cop and a Half was Burt Reynolds.
Kindergarten.
Was it?
Kindergarten Cop is why Schwarzenegger won't do a Marvel film.
Get to the playground.
Because he doesn't want to be associated with the Submariner villain. I'm not a tuna.
Yeah, I'm not a tuna. I'm not a tuna. No, we I remember that though. I remember getting constantly
actually delivered that one right for once.
Yeah, that's good.
I remember getting told I had to cut my hair. I had this rat tail, which was popular in the 90s.
Yeah.
And
unlike now where it's your icon.
Yeah, it's my icon now, and no. I had this long tail that hung on the back of my head, and I remember my agent called. She says, "Hey, Varian, you got a job, and you can come and do it." But she talked to my parents, and she said, "But here's the thing: he's gonna have to cut. He's paying a baseball player. He's gonna have to cut that tail off." And I remember thinking, like, I've had this tail since I was a baby. Like, it was middle of my back. Like, what? Cut my hair? And they said, if you want the job, you're going to have to cut your hair. And my parents came. They said, listen, you don't have to do it. But keep in mind, if you don't, they may say to you, okay, well, this kid is hard to work with. Doesn't want to cut his hair. Doesn't want to do X, Y, and Z. So you may find it hard to get jobs afterwards. But you don't have to do it. If you don't want to cut your hair, that's fine. You don't cut your hair, look for another role. And I was like, I think I must have hemmed and hawed for like 2 hours playing Mario Brothers. And then I was like, okay, I'll cut it. Went to the barbershop, cut it, kept it, by the way, because damn it, my hair wasn't going to sit on the floor of some barbershop. Damn it, they were going to let me keep it. And we went, I did the shoot. It was for Pontiac car company. I was playing a baseball player.
Wow. So, well, I mean, because I would think that cutting your hair is kind of like one of those reasonable reasonable requests.
Not to a 9-year-old.
Telling you you're not black enough is not really.
Did that commercial ever air?
Yeah. I got photography from it and everything.
So you've just given somebody out there a doxing opportunity?
Oh yeah, they can go ahead and fill it up.
I'm more than happy to cut my hair.
Yeah. Well, the thing is though, in all of that, they never showed the back of my head.
Yeah.
That's how I learned about the cutting room floor too. Like, wait a minute, I'm in there. I'm facially, you can see my face and everything, but at no point did they shoot any footage that would have required me to cut my hair like I did. If I was today, if I was coming up today, that's enough to trigger me and cause me advanced trauma. I did this for nothing and you didn't show the back of my head off. What the hell? There was somebody, you're not black enough. You're not, I've gotten you're not tall enough my entire life. That's fine.
That was just his mom.
Yeah. You're not tall enough. You can't get on this ride, young man. That hurts. Sorry. But we don't have that thick skin anymore either. And so all I was saying though about, if you're gonna come to me and tell me that I cannot or I should not critique comics, do not be surprised when I tell you, okay, well then you can't glorify them either, because I'm buying these every week, and as somebody who buys them, I think I have a say in being able to review them or being able to say, hey, this isn't what screw you, Mama Thug. This isn't what I find entertaining. I bought it. I can't take it back. It's mine. I'm stuck with it.
Mike Jimmy says, screw you, Mom. I'm a thug.
Yeah. So if I could take the comic back, that'd be different, but I can't. So I think I have a right to be able to go out there and say, I don't like this book. And don't be surprised when I challenge you and say, well, what did you go get this week? Let me see your haul. Let me see your receipts. And if you come with some lame brain excuse of, I don't have to show you my receipt. That's smooth brain thinking, Daphne calls it.
Yeah, smooth brain thinking. Yeah.
I'm going to hold you to task. Smooth. I almost put a smooth brain on a t-shirt for Indie Vault, but I said, wait.
Yeah. Joe says LMAO, only Varian.
Only Varian.
But Critical Blast says, my OCD has me reaching through the screen with my scissors to snip that lock of hair hanging over Luke's forehead. And Varian says this also explains why Varian wears that hat.
That's right. They'll never get my hair again.
And then he also says the reason Russ wears that hat is if he takes it off, like long flowing locks will come out cascading down.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, but the thing is, to speak on the converse of your argument is like something that I really had to be conscious of myself, and I know a lot of people do this, is having an opinion on a book you've never read.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're like the whole Squirrel Girl thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I never picked up the book, had no interest. Again, it's like I have no interest in Marvel books or whatever, but I kept stopping myself because why do I have an opinion on a book I don't buy? But the thing is, though, it's like the artwork. I had such a visceral reaction to just the artwork on the cover and everything, because it's like I hate that webcomic, like type of style so much that it's like I was just like ranting about this book, and it's like I don't even buy it. Why do I have an opinion on this? I should have just left it alone. It's like that has nothing to do with me. Squirrel Girl can't hurt me.
Yeah, I bought the Squirrel Girl action figure. Do you know why? I bought the Squirrel Girl action figure based on the comic. But you know why?
Why?
Because the product does not look like the comic.
Right. It's kind of like when Arthur Adams did a cover for Squirrel Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny was that was even more painful because, that's Arthur Adams on the cover. And then you open it up and you got that shit artwork on the inside. And look at me having another opinion on a comic I don't buy.
Something else I have over here. I have a Supergirl statue. What's Russ showing us? Hold on 1 second. Can I show this, Russ?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, that's
I'd have done it for
that's based on the original Ditko design, right? Because she actually has that,
She looks like a woman.
It's like she can look like my next door neighbor or something.
What was confusing to me about the I'm going to trigger a whole bunch of people with this comment. What was confusing to me about that whole Squirrel Girl thing was like it had girl in the title, but I didn't see one in the book. I just saw a lump.
But that's that art style that I hated so much.
And don't get me wrong, I know that girls come in different sizes and different shapes and all the rest of it. I understand that I just did not like the art style. It was just everything, whether they were boys or girls, were amorphous blobs.
Now,
they just looked awful to me. It's a personal opinion.
Yeah, there was a rumor running around that she was deliberately making the character ugly. But the thing is, though, I went looking at her art style, and it's like, no, that's her art style. So it was a completely, again, me, opinion, book I don't buy.
It's an opinion, yeah.
I think the problem
an opinion,
is,
yeah.
You see this here? This Supergirl
That's
statue.
not Squirrel Girl.
No. The Supergirl statue I have is I bought the statue mainly because, I like Supergirl, but it's also that Turner costume that they've captured here, the Mike Turner costume that he designed, which I'm a big fan of. I thought it was cool, and I met a good friend during this comic run, so I was like, I'm going to buy this. That way, I'll have it's important to me. Now, this is from the gallery edition of these statues. Now, every other time they do these statues, they use art from the book. They use art based on the pose. Mm-hmm. Not with Supergirl, they didn't. They went and got some art from someone else with a fully no exposed midriff Supergirl, which is fine. That's fine. But it's in every other version or every other box they've used an illustration of the statue. They didn't do it for Supergirl, and so I started to wonder, why didn't they? Because it would have been. I mean, I know they got the Mike Turner art laying around. It's theirs. It's not like it's property of Mike. Like, do they have to pay Aspen some money for that to use that art? I don't.
So
I wouldn't believe so, unless some committee got upset and said, "Oh no, you're not putting that on the boxes. You're gonna go get another image." But every other image from them, every other figure they released.
But the thing is, though, they get that statue on the inside of the box. So they're putting artwork on the box that doesn't match the contents. Is that? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah. But every other statue they've done,
it's the same reason they went through and censored the Michael Turner material in the 100 pages that went through Walmart. They were afraid some angry mom would walk by and go, "Oh, that's indecent."
Yeah.
So they flattened out Turner's sculpted women and they added clothes to Turner's costumes so that they didn't get that type of that kind of reaction from the angry moms.
Belly buttons are the new nipples.
Yeah.
For real, right? That's what it feels like nowadays, right? And then eBay going on a purge, adult art purge, and everyone's going.
Oh my god! I saw that person's belly button. Oh.
It's like ankles. Oh my god, I saw her ankles.
It's funny you make nipple comments as I'm drawing Trash Man's nipples right now. So
You know.
Slender ankles,
but they're masculine. They're masculine facing. Nipples.
I made notice of that.
Term that Tumblr was using for a little while.
I made notice of the hypocritical nature of things the other day. My wife was watching some show, and the Masked Singer is what it was, and Tyrese was the guy under the mask. So sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. The porcupine is Tyrese. So send all the hate mail to Varian. But anyway, so he pulls off the mask, right? And then one of the ladies on the panel was like, "Oh, couldn't you just lick his face?" And I'm like, if a dude said that about a woman, they'd be canceled right away.
I know.
It's been going on for quite some time. I think that artwork. Sorry, I think that artwork on the box is from the CW series. So it might be that.
No,
it might be
pants now.
She got pants now.
Yeah.
But when was this done?
This figure. This figure, it's probably like 2 or 3 years old. Now she didn't wear quite that in the CW series because that's got like the piping and everything they tried to do when they did the New 52.
I'm wondering if that's it. Because otherwise, you'd just get a piece of artwork and you'd just color in a midriff, wouldn't you?
But I mean, luckily, because I was a little concerned that they just put that image on the box and you didn't know that the statue, what the statue actually looked like.
No, the statue's right there.
That's the back of the box, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the back of the box.
Yeah, but the front of the box probably has that artwork on it.
Yeah. Why have artwork that doesn't look like the
right? Yeah.
Want to make the moms mad? There's a big midriff right there.
Belly button. Yeah.
Yep.
Now
that's just some dude's art, like some random guy, probably not even anybody that actually works for Marvel.
No, you're right. It wouldn't be. They'd get an illustrator in to do something for the box. Yeah.
Now, when you
and he probably got paid more than the comic book artist.
Most likely. Yeah.
It's just like the art that they used on the inside of the box and around the box was not the same. And that you can't say the same for Nightwing. I know the Nightwing did have a Batman on the back of the box, but in the front flap, there was someone had taken a picture of Nightwing in the comic, dressed in the same version of the costume that the statue is in. And I thought it was odd. There it is. Matter of fact, there you go. There's a Nightwing statue.
Okay.
Well, that costume doesn't leave anything to the imagination now, does it?
Well.
I think I may be offended by that. That's sexualizing a man. What is going on?
And it looks like it was just painted on.
And it's exposing my daughter. It's exposing my daughter to male anatomy that she shouldn't have to be exposed to.
No, exactly.
You see, the problem is that that the male anatomy is not accurately represented.
Well, just like all women in comics.
To my disappointment.
Well, okay, so the same could be said. The same is true about the female anatomy in comics. It's not accurate, and
right, yeah, exactly. It's the whole J. Scott controversy where it's like, like the most unrealistic thing in that picture was actually Spider-Man, but they're going to say, oh, her tits have to be smaller, and then it's like I said, those arguments lead to really, really bizarre checklists that as real people, I kind of have to side eye, because it's like they're saying, well, if you want a female character to be realistic, she can't have a big ass. She can't have big breasts. And I'm like sitting here going, well, what does that make me then?
Yeah, exactly. It's like why, and also we're back to this same question. Right. Why realistic? It's a comic,
right? Exactly. Why realistic? Look, if J. Scott wants to draw his female characters looking like goddamn creatures, that's on him. It's a style. Yeah, it's not supposed to be realistic. No. It's like stop it.
A bunch of complainers out
it's
there.
Like putting small boobs. Mary Jane is not going to fuck you. She's a cartoon character.
One day.
Seriously, how long do you think now before Kickstarter starts banning those kinds of books from campaigns? You can't do that. That features an unrealistic portrayal of a female. No.
No. That's terrifying because that's the thing that I've been seeing on platforms constantly. That's why this eBay thing is really, really, it's just like another, and also Twitter too. We're all expecting nudity bans on Twitter in the next couple of months because they teamed up with Apple Pay to do to do some like tip jar thing. On Twitter. And it's like, and that's the thing. They create these platforms for us to supposedly, allow us to be creative in every sense of the word, and then once we start becoming, not advertiser friendly, because in the end, that's what it boils down to. They're not really concerned about moms. They're not really concerned about belly buttons. They're concerned about advertisers because that's their real consumer, we're not the end game. The advertisers are the end game. And yeah, it's only a matter of time when Kickstarter starts going, this content is not appropriate for our platform.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
I have a feeling it would happen up there first.
Yeah, it will. I think Indiegogo would be some time behind them. They would eventually they'd have to fall to it, but they would be some time behind them. In fact, they would probably make hay for a while being the place where people could go to put their projects. And then suddenly you would see even more of a case of Indiegogo and Kickstarter not being particular audiences, because there's a whole portion of people that are currently on Kickstarter say, I'd never go to Indiegogo because that's obviously some hideous right-wing place to go and put your book, which is utter nonsense.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
who would once it came down to the fact they couldn't put boobicorns out anymore, would be straight over onto Indiegogo, getting their boobicorns out. All right, exactly. So it's amazing how quickly they changed their minds if that was to be the case.
Right, I mean, because it's like that. Look, and the thing is, too, you always have to be careful when they target specific groups first. The whole like, they're going only after right wingers. That's okay. They're going only after yoi artists. That's okay. The lolicons. Nobody. It's like, that weird manga hentai shit. They're only going after that. It's like, no, they're only going after that because that's how they're getting their feet in the water. First, it's like they're moving towards the more unpopular targets first. And then the next thing you know, all of a sudden it's like, well, you have this art style that we don't like,
Pretty soon
I know.
It'll just be an amorphous blob.
It's why it's so ridiculous to hear all that crap about censorship, people going through mental gymnastics to try and make it okay for those people to be censored, but not those people. Right. Eventually, it's going to come around and bite you on the ass.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that the term boobicorns is copyright 2021 Randy Zimmerman. Title coming soon. So I'm going to make a mint.
You'll be hearing from my solicitor.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to let you guys duke it out.
We'll sign those contracts and get it going. Russ, we're gonna be millionaires.
Yeah, millionaires. This time next year,
we'll get that up there on Kickstarter just in time. Boobicorn.
All I know is that every time I draw a topless Ego Raven, I think of Russ.
I feel blessed.
Russ, at least you're getting thought of, right?
Yeah. It makes a change.
What I thought was fun is Russ had somebody walking past him in the background while he was talking about boobicorns, and it was like,
right, exactly. Like, you had to come in on that conversation. It's like nobody. You're watching a movie in peace, and the only time everybody walks in is at the sex scene.
Is when they're all when they're getting it on. It's like, no, honest. This film is not full of this. Honest.
It is. I tried to watch a film. I remember watching it as a kid. And what was it called? Oh crap! Anyway,
Behind the Green Door.
No, but it might as well have been. It might as well have been because there's a chick getting done in the shower and she's against the glass door.
That doesn't narrow it down.
No, that was from Kentucky Fried Movie. Catholic high school girls in trouble.
It was. You're right.
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Movie.
I remember as a kid sitting with my mum and dad, and my sister thought it was a good idea to bring that in and show it to us, and I was mortified.
I
was like, oh no!
I remember watching it as a kid, and I'm like, and my wife is looking at me like, the boy is up, and I'm like, well, I watched this as a kid his age. I didn't. It was funny.
Yeah.
And I turned out, never mind. We
Right, yeah.
Don't go there.
Like, oh wait. as you know, it's like I cut my teeth on my father's Playboys, and like my sister said, we grew up watching hentai like a family.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. We just, it was okay. I came out all right. I only got a few quirks.
Twerks? A few twerks?
I do. I will twerk. I'm known to twerk quite a bit.
This is not a charade.
So pull your back out, Ryan.
That's still classic. Oh, we still have this in the queue. In fact,
oh, the pants one.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing any pants. Film at 11.
Yeah.
And it works for both the American and British version.
Yeah.
Definitions of pants. Either one is fine.
Yeah, either one is funny. Yeah.
Right.
although listening to your broad American accent say the word tits is quite funny.
Well, it's American plus Queens specifically.
Yeah.
You know, we're just above Brooklyn, so there's kind of that overlap. Well, it's Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island. Right?
Well, all our younger readers, our listeners out there, if you haven't seen Kentucky Fried Movie and you're old enough to handle adult humor, please do so and enjoy yourself. There's such a great.
Don't tell anyone on Twitter.
Yeah, don't tell anyone on Twitter. No, take him to Detroit. No, anything but that, not Detroit.
Yeah, that part wasn't funny.
Yes, it was.
Like, wait a minute, I
Canceled.
grew up there.
Even the episode of Daredevil still holds up. The commercial for Daredevil, so the guy in the Evil Knievel suit that goes and stands in the middle of the crap game and screams the N-word and takes off running.
Oops.
Yeah.
Just classic material, folks. Classic.
Was that in Die Hard too? Saying they made Bruce Willis want us to hang out on the sign.
Oh, right, yeah.
Now you hear a very classic Sam Jackson. What the fuck? I love it.
No, he mouths it. He mouths
Paul
it
Mooney
in Kentucky Fried
passed.
Movie.
Yeah. Paul Mooney passing.
He did a lot of material for Chappelle and Richard Pryor, which makes me remember Mel Brooks, because Richard Pryor and Mel Brooks worked a lot together. They worked on Blazing Saddles.
Moody had a very distinguished and a deep voice. Yeah. Really an amazing humorist. Yeah,
he really was
one of the best.
He's a lot like an uncle of mine. Even the mannerisms, and I always thought, like, I remember doing an impression of my uncle Johnny, and someone asked me, "Why are you doing it? Is that your Paul Mooney impression?" I said, "No, that's my Uncle Johnny. That's how he sounds like. Go get me some. Go get me a shot of Christian Brothers. Go get it right now. I'm thirsty. Need a drink. Why'd you get married? You could have all these bitches. All of you could have. You could have had bitches, but you didn't. You fucked up and got married. I don't know why you did that. That's stupid of you. You're stupid like your daddy. You just want to get one woman. Man wasn't made for monogamy. What's wrong with you? What's wrong? And that's how he talks.
Danger seekers. Yeah,
bro. He's the most misogynistic person I know. Love him to death, but he's just like, I'll do a whole.
I have an uncle who's an actual fascist, so
yeah. He's not invited to any of the cookouts, is he?
Man, your guys' uncles are. It makes me feel. I loved my uncle, Uncle Smokey. They called him Uncle Smokey. He was a drag queen.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And he was.
We've all had uncles. Come on.
He was quite a character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we love him anyway. That's what family is all about.
My Uncle Johnny's the only person I know, though, that had 3 cars. I knew he worked in a factory, but he had 3 cars. He had a Vet, a Mark 8, and a Lincoln Town Car, which he later traded for a Cadillac.
Yeah.
And he would drive around with a small, with a tumbler, okay? And an open bottle of Christian Brothers in the car. And I'm like,
that was back in the day. That had to be back in the day.
80s and 90s. And I'm like, hey, Unc, you can't. And I knew.
Did the Cadillac even have seatbelts?
Yeah. I remember seeing him one point. I said, "Hey, are you ever afraid to get pulled over?" No, well, you gotta know how to hold your liquor. You can't be getting out the car all wobbly and walking down the street holding that yellow damn line. What's wrong with you? You gonna go out there? Don't get out the goddamn car. I said, breathalyzers, Unc. Breathalyzers.
That was back when a lot of people had what they call common sense.
Yeah. He just
don't argue with the cops.
Yeah. Like, just get out the car.
Even if they're wrong, just
know how to hold yourself.
Yes, Asifa. Yes, Asifa. No,
I remember.
Thank you.
Even if they're wrong, they're still holding the gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
Crap.
That's what lawyers are for.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was the realest shit he ever told me.
Closer first.
That was the realest shit he ever told me. He says, "Well, if you get pulled over and you've been drunk driving, I can tell you one thing." I said, "What?" He said, "I tell you, going to jail. You went out there, you got drunk, you were drunk driving. Now you got to pay the consequences." And I'm like, "But you drink and drive. You it's literally a cup here."
But he didn't get caught.
And he would have paid the consequences.
Yeah.
That's the distinction. That's the difference.
He's
you
prepared
getting
for
caught, you need the consequences. He hasn't gotten caught.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need consequences.
You also have to understand that there's a certain level of resistance if you do it enough.
Yeah.
Where you would also not be affected by the alcohol you were drinking.
Yeah, see, not me. I take one shot and I'm like, woohoo! Who wants to see my dongle?
Limitations. Yeah.
Who wants to see my Adobe dongle? Ooh, huh? I got one right here for you. Nothing is illegal till you get caught. Yeah.
You had to be there yesterday. Yeah. It's literally an Adobe joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adobe.
It's an Adobe joke. I don't know those. I don't have Adobe.
You gotta pull that Adobe dongle out and let everybody see it.
I said it was an old trait, Joe. It says, wait, common sense still exists in some people. Yes.
The Fox says, "Are you live on Indie Vote Radio app? I use it in the mornings, but it only plays music." Yeah, it's playing music right now in the US. This show will be on at 11:30. So yeah, it's only live in the US.
Just a slight delay.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it might be worse today because Lola's not at the computer handling it because she normally funnels everything over.
Oh, is she feeling better at least?
She is starting. Well, she wasn't feeling. She was feeling better last night around about 3:00. Then she got some even worse news. She's receiving some harassment online, and she's waking her way through it. But she was awakened.
Do we have to all get together and choke a bitch? Really?
Yeah, she's getting some harassment online, which, you know, unfortunately, the people who are harassing her don't realize that, you know, I was a very lonely 15 to 17-year-old. I spent a long time learning computers, learning how to code, learning how to do horrible things on the computer. And I can find them. I know who they are. I know who most of them are. And so it's like,
you've acquired a certain set of skills.
Yeah. So,
oh my God, that voice, Randy.
I will find you. And I will kill you.
And I will kill you.
I will find you.
I will send you a vast collection of dick pics.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been nice. It would have been nice if they were trying to gain access to her personal accounts, Facebook, you know, Twitter.
I mean, is it specific to anything, or is it just a general
specific to her
Russian hacker type shit?
No, specific to her doing a comic.
Oh,
she just
good Lord,
pushback.
What?
Yeah. Beavis is as Beavis does.
Yeah, Lola's been getting. Yeah.
Why is it what?
Yeah.
There's idiots everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just it happens, and she was prepared for it. But she was prepared for it early on. She thought, okay, the day I launch, I know what's going to happen. I'm ready for it, and then it did not happen.
It just took a minute to find her.
Yeah. And you know, the more she goes out there and promotes her book, the worse it seems to get. So,
why? I don't understand.
There are people who really do have an issue with female creators being corny.
Joe says Daphne is way worse than Wayne Brady.
Yeah, Daphne got the choker bitch. She got the Daphne.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It does.
She, you know,
Beavis is everywhere, Imperium.
I've said this. You know, this is a woman who survived being kidnapped for a year. So it's going to take a little bit more than some internet trolls to get her down. But
yeah, definitely.
You know, that's certainly not an invitation. But
yeah, and it's not a challenge
is too nice
either.
a word.
Yeah.
But she's
assholes.
You know, she's dealt with a lot. So, but you know, she was a little upset about it because I think she's more upset that it woke her up.
But again,
Bloody bugger, dude! If you have their email, sign them up for spam sites.
Yeah. Just
send them some pizza.
Yeah,
they're never gonna know what hit them.
Yeah, here's pizza. I'm gonna send them all those free PDFs I get when I back comics. Here's over 1,000 PDFs. Enjoy.
Yeah, most of them are shit. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
You did. Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, those inside voices. Luke, tell them about the inside thoughts.
All right, so I got this thing. My wife will ask me, "Is like, was that an inside thought or an outside thought?" Like, there is a lack of filter, and so sometimes I will say exactly what I think, and that can get me in a lot of trouble, especially in my profession.
I would say it's exactly. There is some kind of equation that relates to your age, because the older I get, the more shit I spell.
Yeah,
and the less I care.
It's right.
That does go with when you're getting older. Yeah, it gets worse too. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
What is this?
Closer you get to your closer you get to a pension, the more likely you are to insult people.
So I don't have to worry about getting canceled. I'll cancel myself. Screw you guys.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't cancel me.
I got your campaign up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 13 days left. Wow, has it been that long? Did you run a shorter campaign?
28 days. I only run 28-day campaigns because I have books to make and I have a schedule to keep. So no 30 or 60-day campaigns for this guy. I want to get the books out to everybody.
You know,
I don't recommend a 60-day campaign for anybody. I don't know how you guys do that.
Neither do I.
For that crap.
I've run one, never again. No.
I'm going to say something incredibly insensitive, and it's going to seem all over the place.
Okay.
But this image bothers me, and it's not your fault, Luke. Right. It is because the weird wackadoo placement of that play button. Okay,
I saw it.
Makes him look like he's got a bra on,
censored breasts,
and one of them is much larger than the other, which made me think about one of the booth girls that I used to have that I had a big crush on. But when she revealed to me that she actually wore a padded like cup there because one breast was extremely larger than the other, I was both
careful.
I was in love with the idea. They're like, whoa, really? I was enamored. At the same time, I was like, oh no.
So what you're saying is that even with this image, you see titties everywhere.
I see titties everywhere. I need help.
And it's just a dude, man. That's like literally, it's a dude.
Yeah. And it hasn't dawned on me that it's a guy yet. I'm just like, tits.
Exactly.
That little arrow looks like a nipple to me. Yeah.
It's a cold one as well.
Yeah,
it's got 4 of them too.
Yeah. Luke, explain to me why you're drawing breast on your but that play button is it should allow us to put it up in the left hand corner.
Just turned pink. Yeah.
He's excited.
Pink booby. Yeah.
He's excited.
Do it.
And that's
buy the book.
That's T-Mobile Magenta. That's what that is.
That is T-Mobile Magenta. Didn't they trademark that color?
I know Tiffany's blue is trademarked. That they have gone after people for using a specific Pantone color for Tiffany's.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
People are so lame.
This makes me want to use that blue more often.
Yeah.
Mostly weddings. that Tiffany's blue get used a lot during weddings.
Mm-hmm. And they're really going after someone getting married for.
Yeah.
Okay, you used the wrong color blue. It's like, you know what? Screw you, man.
Can I get Varian red?
It's trademarked.
I'll get Varian red. I'll start suing gangs. To your gang leadership, this is my red. You can't use that.
But it's not for nothing, though. I really do think they pay Pantone to make those colors and to officially register those colors for them. So not for nothing. I don't think they're just picking out a specific color from the Pantone catalog. I think they have them tailored specifically for them.
Do you guys like remember the designer imposters? Remember that whole thing? But this is a designer imposter, and I always thought like they should have, even as a kid, that's not a very nice name to put on your industry. We're designer imposters. And for cologne.
Oh,
perfume.
like did they make kind of like the
smell like.
off brand?
Yeah, if you like Giorgio Armani, you'll love Dior. And it's like
that's half of the B-list comic companies now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you like Image,
if you have to describe your comic as being like somebody else's comic, then you're kind of missing something.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Like, if you love Marvel, you'll love.
So for instance, my comic, I can be inspired by other people, and I can show that inspiration. But I wouldn't say this comic is a particular character mixed with this particular character, mixed with this particular book, because then people would say, well, why don't I just buy those?
Hey, you know what?
That's such a marketing thing that I'm kind of like mixed about it, because it's like, it's like it's like you said before, that's like because people don't have comics in their faces all the time, that they have that lack of accessibility, that they need an explainer like that just to know what you're talking about.
But I think you can. So for instance, I obviously used the references to the Bronze Age, okay, and the artists that inspired me, but I also called my book a sci-fi adventure,
right?
And those badges should be enough for people to understand kind of where you're coming
let me take it even further. So you say it's a sci-fi adventure, but like if you were to compare it to
sci-fi adventure fantasy,
but if you were to compare it to something specific, like say I have no idea what Bronze Age is and what and what Fukushima is or whatever, and it's like, okay, you say sci-fi, it's like, yeah, okay, but what is it, like Star Wars? Is it like
sci-fi is huge. Sci-fi isn't just Star Wars, is it?
Yeah, I know, but you see,
but then if I was to say it's like Star Wars, we just go and watch Star Wars because that works.
Well, no, what you do is that you trigger the person to say, "Oh, I like Star Wars, so maybe I'll like your thing too."
Yeah, I think that can help,
right.
but
no, but
I think the danger.
If you had to compare, if Death Can Save Us, Only Death Can Save Us, to like something. Like say I'm just like a dude in the street or something. I'm like, yeah, so you do that funny picture shit. What is that? What's it like? And you only had like one movie to compare it to.
Oh God. Oh, I don't know. That's tricky. That's really tricky.
That's marketing, baby.
That's really odd. I mean, like, I don't know. No, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, but somebody said that to me. Masters of the Universe. It's a bit like that, but is it? I don't know. The other thing is I kind of veer away from this. This is probably just me, but also if you compare yourself to something as big as those kind of brands and those kind of successful entities, are you bigging yourself up too much? Do you know what I mean? Are you making it? It's like, it's like Masters of the Universe crossed with Star Wars with a little bit of J.R. Tolkien thrown in. Oh, right, okay. You haven't got a big head at all, have you? There's nothing arrogant about that.
That's exactly how I end up describing my books to people, especially at conventions, which I miss conventions because this is how I used to like workshop these ideas.
Sure. Yeah.
Is it's like, okay, so it's like, so Tall Tales would be like, it's like if Disney did Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's like the mashup sounds impossible, and I have no idea what the people in front of me are thinking, but it's enough to like they get that look of recognizability. It's like, oh, is it really? And it's like, and the same thing with Eagle Raven. I go, well, it's kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia and The Witcher. And it's like, what does that even mean?
You see, that's the thing. It's like when you said, Disney does Tolkien, I can grasp that, but your other description, I can't.
Right?
I can't get my head around that at all.
Yeah.
So I can see where you're coming from. I can understand it.
Right.
But I actually really like it when you talk. If you like your fantasy the jumping, skipping.
Oh, the running, jumping, skipping, right?
I love that as a description, and you're not referring to anybody else. You're just talking about fantasy, and instantly, just from that description, I get I know what kind of fantasy that is. That's going to be light-hearted, fun, fairy sort of like booby-corn stuff. I don't know. It's going to be really light and airy. Whereas if you were to describe it as something else, I don't know. When you talk about something that's a bit more.
Right. Well, you see, that's the thing, because usually when I use like I go, oh, it's more Lord of the Rings, less Game of Thrones type of description. But isn't Game of Thrones just Lord of the Rings with tits? I mean, yeah. Well, you see, that's what I'm trying to.
Well, there's a little incest tossed in there.
Yeah. I mean, just like it took me a while to even realize it's like I really should be telling people Eagle Raven is a soap opera, not an adventure. Because it's like, oh, it's very specific, because Eagle Raven is very talky. It's not really adventure driven. It's more relationship driven. So it's like, oh, what term could I use for this for people to
soap
understand? And I go soap opera, because then it's like they're thinking of everything in a soap opera, and it's like, okay, I could work with that.
I had a friend who told me, he said he makes independent film, and he says, Varian, what we need the type of marketing that adult films have, because you never see on adult films, from the writer of Taking It Outside comes Fat Girls on Double. You never see that. You never see that ever. It's just
you just need to know what's in this film,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. If they don't, they never harken back to the old work, like
cock guzzling lesbian.
Right. Did you?
That's gonna get clipped.
It's like, did you love Snatch Man? Check out our new installment of, they never do that. The Trimmeister, they never do that. So they don't have to.
I just I'm going to break this up.
Lola is sitting there writing down all these titles for Shocker comics.
Marketing conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a counterpoint to every one of you here. I did a 60-day campaign, and my next campaign will be 60 days as well. And I keep mine still up in demand. It's a completely different approach to the way Luke produces his work, because obviously he's doing shorter pitches. You're doing like floppies, aren't you? And so it's a completely different approach. So I totally understand why Luke would do it that way. But from my perspective, I knew that my book was going to be months. Even though I turned it around quite quickly, there was still going to be a case for it being up there for a long period of time. So mine's still in demand, if you want to chuck that up, Varian. Mine's still in demand. And actually, the idea being is that when it closes out the in demand next month, which will be the last month I'll be in demand because the new campaign will be coming soon, that I'm able to do a further closeout. So I'll be going and jumping on other people's streams and mention it on my own next month, saying, look, this is it. This is the end of it. You're not going to get this again. So it's a way of coming back and, having another closeout session.
So having a 60-day campaign for you found is a lot more beneficial than
it was for me. Yeah.
But like Randy was like exhausted at 30 days.
Yeah. Well, we had 30 days, at least 30 days of nothing.
Yeah.
So, and I had, it needed to be a quicker hit because I want to get on to other things. I got other things in the pipeline. So.
I'm sorry, 1 second. Rust Protocol 1. Rust Protocol 1.
I think it depends on scheduling, really. So,
right.
Russ, by the way, explain to me, what exactly is a cheese-eating surrender monkey?
Oh, it's French.
They're French.
Can't you know that? Can't you? Yeah. I think it's obvious. It's the French.
Somebody surrender monkeys. What's wrong with it?
Is that a question from Indie Volt Radio?
Yeah. If someone has to ask Russ what a cheese-eating surrender monkey is.
We love our French. We love our French cousins. No, we love Europe. We really do. But they've got some odd ways on the continent.
Yeah, they have their own rock band over there. Yeah, it's a cover band called White Flag, And
Oh, come on.
That's right.
You're losing your French numbers.
we have a comedy over here. They're actually rerunning it now called Hello Hello.
Oh
and
yeah.
It's superb, and it's a unique thing, or it was at the time, where the whole point was that everybody spoke in the English language because it was a British sitcom, but the different nationalities would just have accents. And so the British air pilots would come in and people would be speaking English, but with a French accent. And they wouldn't have a clue what they were talking about because they'd put the accent on. And there was a particular character, which was a policeman who was an undercover British guy who couldn't speak French properly. So he'd come in and say, I was missing by your window. Instead of passing, and every other word.
It really was an interesting show, the way it played with language like that.
But the crazy thing was that it did really well in Germany and France, and I don't quite know how that works.
That's because some countries have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Randy,
they're not afraid to laugh at themselves.
Randy, you said I was losing French numbers. That can't be the first time that's been said in history.
No. What is our radio number, by the way?
Radio numbers is 67,885. 67,885. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. And you should know that we love all our listeners. If I'm making jokes, it's about the guy next to you who's not listening. It's not about you. It's about the guy sitting next to you. Unless you're
is France our number one country?
Good morning.
No. I don't have the number 100 countries listed. The only time I'm talking about you if you live in Bonner Springs, Kansas. I'm talking about you.
Okay.
I
have shattered myself. Apparently Mike is saying it's still running in the Netherlands.
Oh, there you go.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? It's there.
We make no apologies for Tennessee.
I think here it's like you could probably catch it on Amazon Prime, but you need like Acorn to get it, and it's a whole.
Yeah, I found that whole Acorn thing.
Streaming.
Yeah, no, I got the free thing for 30 days and then it's going.
We were looking at hybrids.
Oh yeah, we were distracted.
Yeah, we
got
were going to talk
distracted.
about this book for a second, weren't we? Russ, I'm only doing 28 days.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't have the stamina that you do.
Like Jimmy says, it's still running in the Netherlands.
I don't believe that. I've seen how many books you've been pushing out, mate.
I'm going for more frequent releases, smaller bits, and so that's what we're trying to do. And then we'll compile everything up to a trade paperback, which the trade paperbacks will run 60 days. But I don't like any of that nonsense where he's like, hey, my 30 days just ended. Oh, guess what? I'm doing another 30 days. I just kind of feel like that's disingenuous.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't do that. Obviously it's pretty obvious that I'm going to do 60 days, so I don't make a big deal out of it. But what happens is that when you do extend, purely from a technical perspective, when you extend, it puts you up the rankings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it gives you that little boost. So
so there's a reason to do that, but to have for me, like to have to make a big deal about it and be like,
no.
You know what's odd to me is that I think it feels like Lola launched her campaign 2 years ago.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
And I'm like, is this not over yet? Like people have launched campaigns and they've ended since. Why is yours still going? And I feel bad. I'm like, you guys are all finishing up. Hybrids has been it feels like one of those other campaigns. They just flew by. 13 days left. Still a lot of good stuff to get. Luke,
lots of good stuff still on there. Yeah.
So now this won't be. Is this under the Arrow imprint? Will these come with Arrow trade dress?
Yeah, it's going to have the Arrow trade dress on there and everything. So everything from this point forward that says hybrids on it is going to have, with the exception of the game, because we haven't really worked out a deal on that one yet. But that's not going to have any imprint on it. But everything's got the Arrow imprint on there, and we are offering free domestic shipping.
The game was really in motion before Arrow.
It really was, yeah.
The Arrow deal was struck. So,
and I don't know if you know this, but we started a deal now. Every time someone besides Randy mentions Arrow, and me mentions Arrow on Indievolt, Randy has to pay me $10. So keep it going. Keep it going. That's
Arrow Comics.
Yeah. Keep it going.
I was waiting to bring up finances. I believe that there might be some kind of fee for me to be here.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to be paying us. Yeah.
Aren't I supposed to
Let's talk about hybrids first.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about fees.
Look, he has an action figure.
I have an action figure. Okay, so this campaign, so we're offering free domestic shipping. So anybody in the U.S. that's listening, the price that you pay is the price that you pay. There's no hidden shipping cost. If you are international, if you are in anywhere else in the world, we're going to discount that shipping for you. And we do have 12 copies of a action figure left. I'll be painting these. These are going to be hand painted, and I'll show you. I've got one of the prototypes here, and so they're going to be hand painted, and then the back of the box will be signed and numbered. Comes in a nice clamshell box.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's art by Adrian Fernandez, who's a fantastic tattoo artist who did a couple of covers for me in the past. So we're
cool.
kind of showing those off. But yeah, that's the action figure. Like I said, we're going out today and choosing the paint palette for him and everything. So that's pretty good. I've been drawing this guy for so long. I actually started getting my hair cut like that guy. So,
yeah.
I was like, just give me that. They're like, hey, how do you want your haircut? And I'm like, I guess like this guy. I mean, it's the only haircut I know now.
Are you showing a cartoon like, we got one. We got one of those.
Yeah.
Remember the guy who came in and wanted the Wolverine the other week? Yeah,
that's not the other one. So yeah, we've got 12 of those left. There are 10 available for add-ons, and there are 10 available in the Completest pack. Completest pack is it's my biggest tier. It's got every book and everything that we're offering there, but we are offering 4 different books in this project. If you need to catch up with the Killing Field Part 1, it's available in this, but we also have the trade paperback for the Trash Day series, which is available through this. We've got a very limited quantity of that left. Once those are gone, they're gone, and we'll re-release that first trade paperback after we've done all of the Arrow releases through the direct market. We'll at some point next year we'll think about doing a new trade paperback.
I gotta ask, this is a little inside baseball, but
yeah.
Okay, I would love the remastered trade paperback. We'll love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also in love with that Kane and White cover you have.
Mm-hmm.
Will that be in the remastered, or is that going to be something
the remastered will only be the Kane and White cover? Okay. So so I'm going to reuse that because I paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And Kane and White's work is tremendous. So the remaster will have the Arrow badging on it, and it'll look really nice. And then it'll have all of the Arrow release comics with the additional commentary and things like that. There and any extra material that we decide to throw in there. So I'll be working with Randy to figure out what all we want to throw in that book. So we're pretty excited about that. So we are offering for anyone who's been with the project since the beginning, or even recently. We want to make sure that those people can get a taste of what that remastered issue 1 is going to look like. Mm-hmm. And so we're doing 100 limited, no more than 100 copies. I'm only going to print what's needed for financial reasons, because we're producing books every month and a half. But we'll print no more than 100 on holofoil cover of the remaster. It's a fan edition for fans. So if you want to get a hold of that a little early, you can. But we're also going to do an incentive. Anyone that goes out to the direct market and picks up that issue 1 and takes a picture of it and posts it on social media will get a special link with a special giveaway that I'm going to give with the next campaigns.
Cool.
So that they can, so that we can incentivize them to go out and actually buy the Arrow release version, because that's going to be so awesome. Can't wait.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
It is. I'm very excited. We redid about 80 to 85% of the book. Went back and remastered it and redrew a lot of it. It was drawn a few years ago, and I've gotten a lot better. I didn't know anything back then, and I've learned quite a bit. So the book is better. We've extended some scenes and things like that. So
still learning.
Yeah, and still learning. Learning.
We all are. Yeah.
But it's definitely better than it was, and I wanted to kind of make those stand out as they hit the shelves, and I wanted it to be more the continuity to be a little bit better once you get to the end of issue 12, which will also be done this year. We're gonna blast through and produce all of them.
And I have to say, the wife yesterday saw me putting the print file together for this book, and the first thing she said was, "Man, that's really colorful." And I said, "Yeah, Luke's got an awesome colorist."
Yeah, we'll really try to make the colors pop and look nice. And so, but yeah, so you can see right now what you're looking at is some of the new art from issue 7. This is a 36-page book, which includes a 4-page backup story and a couple of special pinups. We're going to have to obviously cut that down for the Arrow release. It's only going to be 32 pages, but I think we'll just be able to squeeze right in there with 32 pages once that goes to the direct market. So what you're getting here is not going to be a direct market release. This is an oversized issue that's cram-packed with a bunch of extra stuff in there. And so you get
cram-packed.
What I like to do is as soon as we've packed it as full as we can, I like to pack a little bit more. I like to stick a little bit more in there. That's kind of my plan. And so for $15, you can get the single issue shipped to your house, if in the US for free. No shipping cost on that. And then if you go down a little bit, you'll see some of the remastered pages for issue 1 that you can get a hold of. And then something 14-year-old Luke loved comic books. I used to go into the comic book shop and I would buy, dig through all the bins and things like that. In fact, I found some old comics yesterday, and I was like, hey, check this out.
I'm like, I think I did that back in if you turn that over, that back cover, I think I colored that with magic markers.
Yeah. So I found some old Arrow Comics books in my collection yesterday as I was going through them. I'm like, hey, I even forgot I had those. So it's kind of neat. But I used to sit there and I used to be surrounded by comic books and Dungeons and Dragons games and miniatures and all that kind of stuff, and think, man, I want a series that's several issues deep one day, and I want to have a role playing game that goes with it. And so that's what we're doing. Nick Tockard is working with me, and he has developed the engine, the base for this just tremendous role playing game. And so we're going to release the full manual later this year, and hopefully be able to crowdfund that and get it shipped out to everyone by Christmas. But in the meantime, for this campaign, we're doing a quick play. So it's kind of like if you're playing a video game, the tutorial part at the beginning where you get a chance to get to know the game a little bit and the controls. This is a fun game module that gives you a chance to explore the mechanics of the game, the rules. And it's not super rules heavy, but it is a lot. It's a lot of fun. It does require it's a D20 system, and so if you've already got those dice, you'll have a lot of fun with this game. But you can get that game also through here. Yeah, those are just some of the remastered pages that we've been working on. Some brand new scenes and things like that. And my colorist Patrick, I've been working with him since day one. And he, when I told him, hey, I'm going back and I'm redoing the book, he's like, I said, are you happy to do that? He goes, yeah, I'm happy to. He goes, what, are we talking a couple pages? I said, yeah, probably just a couple pages. And like a week later, I was like, okay, yeah, it's 20 pages. We redid a total of 20 pages were either completely redrawn or at least a panel or two fixed on them. So I tried to leave some of the stuff untouched so that it still had some flow from back then. But
I like the guy with the claws.
Yeah, Rascal's fun.
Yeah.
And we are introducing a new story at the back of that book too. It's pretty cool. It's called Rift Riders. And right now this art is featuring Martha Schwartz. She did the pencils, I did some inks, and then we had a guy named Jason Smith do the colors on it. It is kind of co-created and co-written by Piper Steed, my editor, and I, and so we're pretty excited about it.
That was cool.
We're only showing one page because we're only doing 6 pages as a preview at the back.
Good old hybrids available. Go and check that out. Okay.
And how many days do you have left
88%,
on this?
13 days. We're 88% funded. We will go in demand until with just the standard issue. Like I might do some of the catch-up tiers, like with the trade, but all of the extra stuff, the action figure, all that stuff's going to go away. And the limited things will be in demand until I start to ship, and then I'm turning it off. So because I have another book, today I start the art for issue 8. The layouts just got finished, so
cool.
I'll be knocking out the art and for issue 8 over the course of the next couple of weeks.
I seen Glenn was commenting, but it's not on the page.
So what?
Glenn is commenting but it's not showing up in the comments.
As your that might be me.
I thought I seen it on Vogel's page, but I'm not sure.
Sometimes Facebook has a bad tendency of knocking things private.
Yes, sorry, Glenn. We're not ignoring you. I just seen. I went to Facebook and I didn't see the comment. And I'm like, wait a minute, Glenn's commenting.
Let me check.
I was ignoring him.
I might not have knocked it over here.
Because I was about to say we're not ignoring you. It's like, oh, okay, Russ is. So.
No, it's up there.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff here.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, John Dunn. Yeah, I didn't knock my page over to public. Facebook has a bad tendency of not doing that for me.
So obnoxious.
John Dunn, we're sorry, we're not ignoring you. He's typing really in large type here. Diligence is authentic, binding, self-effacing, and open to critique. It's the coffee. Yeah.
So Hybrids, The Killing Field, part
Sorry,
1, part 1 and 2 available on Indiegogo. Hop over there. You got 13 days left. Or as I call it, a Varian week. 13 days. It's a Varian week.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a baker's dozen, but
yeah. I need a week. I need 13 days. Maybe 14, depending on how drunk I get on the fourth day. There are some days I wake up and say, I don't want to be here. I don't have the motivation. I want to sit and curl up and watch Marvel movies. Leave me alone. But yeah, 13 days to get over there. Check out Indiegogo's Hybrids, The Sons of Gods. But this one's Hybrids, The Killing Field, part 1 and 2. And you don't need this. You don't need this to understand what's going on in Hybrids. But
you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to get the backups like the first arc. You don't have to get that to know what's going on. I try to write the books like it's someone's first issue. Like someone's going to pick it up and they're going to read it for the first time.
Yeah,
and so they can at least jump in and have some bit of understanding of what's happening. So you don't have to get those. It is nice because you get to see kind of some of that other story and get to know the characters. There's some development that takes place in there, but not necessary.
As far as people getting paid to be on the show, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's payment enough to be in your presence, if
absolutely.
only digital.
Don't watch where you're stepping.
Yeah, thank you.
We bask in your glory, sir.
I don't bask in the greatness. I would call myself the human sunbeam, but that other guy took it. So Ethan took that from me, the human sunbeam. But bask in my glorious burden of greatness.
Something.
Bask in it.
Somebody snorted. Was that you, Russ?
That was me.
He's heavily medicated at all times, folks.
But no, I'll never pay anyone to be on IndieVolt.
Well, it's how we keep our integrity as a journalistic whatever we are.
Unless, of course, I'll pay if they're going to do some type of dance, and those will be strictly paid for events that you have to pay to get into. Like, they're dancing. No, we don't pay, and I haven't taken money either.
You shouldn't even jest about that because there's too many Beavises out there.
Yeah, there really is.
Are you guys doing special paid events with dancers?
How much do I have to pay?
You can see our things.
Yeah.
I want to see wiggle.
75 spankies.
Spankies
is the fee. No, but it's we never paid, and we never been paid to be on the show. I would love to be paid for someone to say, can I come with IndieVolt? Yeah, it's gonna be $50. And I say that because when in the very early days, I tried IndieVolt as a podcast, and the person who was going to help me with it was actually charging bands to come on and talk about their music. And she disappeared on me after a show. And I found out not only was she disappeared to go make out with the lead of the rap group and get banged down on the side of the building. She also collected her fee. And I didn't get any of the fee. She did buy me McDonald's.
I was about to ask. So she was just like charging these people. So she was making side money.
Yeah, I never understood that. Like, wait a minute. And I found out later. So wait a minute, you banged the dude.
Well,
and then pay.
and then
yeah, there's a word for that.
That's skirting a line.
Yeah,
there.
it's like
Then he paid you, and then I'm glad I didn't get any of it anyway, because that would have been like, are you a pimp?
That would
right.
Made you
That would have.
thing. Yes.
That would have been.
But so I backed off of that real quick. But she did buy me McDonald's on the way home. That was nice. I appreciate the
That's
McDonald's.
still payment, man. That's
Oh boy.
But yeah, she was charging
I
bands.
told you, you come around here. No. Let's
Small.
give me my money.
Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, there's no appearance fees to be on Indie Vault.
Right.
We will contact you. And if you say, hey, can I get, but the one guy, his complaint was, he said if he's on a show and he can't get sales, then he's wasting time being on that show.
That's not how that's not.
That's not how marketing works.
Yeah, that's.
What does this guy think he is? Some
this-
actor from a film that's getting paid to turn up because of the deal that they have between them. It's like
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
the old lady knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, you're taking a chance. I mean, it's like, because you can't poo-poo shows that have only 200 or 100 subscribers, in favor for like, oh well, this show has 1,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers, because that show with the 100 subscribers might actually have a more rabid fan base.
Exactly. Yeah. Anybody who asks me to go on, I'll go on.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
say thank you for the time that they've given me to be on their channel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could have 3 people, and I'm like, oh, we're hanging out.
Lola had,
Lola
had someone back her campaign. Nice big donation, not donation, but perk. They bought a tier, like $100 or so, and she was like, she hadn't been on air that day. She hadn't posted anything. It came in overnight and said, you know what? That must have been a show you had been on.
Yeah, it had to
be.
Yeah.
They caught in a replay and they said, I'm going to back that book. So these shows are, they're important to go on. They're important to be on because they also help keep your content evergreen. I can't tell you how many times I've fallen asleep to YouTube videos and woke up and there's someone talking about their comic and I'll look it up and, if they're smart, they've got the comic on a website somewhere I can go buy it. But yeah, like Daphne said, there's
especially if you sit and fall asleep to YouTube, you never know where you're going to end up when you wake up.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Got that autoplay
None.
going.
yeah. I woke up to movies before. Like, what am I watching? Why?
I've woke up to some pretty bizarro conspiracy videos.
Yeah.
I were like, this is on YouTube. How did they allow that? Holy crap.
Yeah. That's where I get most of my ideas for the comics.
Right.
Amen. Right.
I found out thanks to one of those videos that if you there's a tremendous amount of zinc inside of never mind.
Well, Russ hit the nail on the head. I mean, heck, my book is about folklore and legend and mythology, all married with like those really good parts of what made a teen book so popular in the 80s and 90s. The character driven plot lines and the fast paced action and explosions and just
back when you read a book as soon as you got home and then wished you had the next part as soon as you were done, and you cursed the fact that it was 30 days away.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, so Luke, let me ask you the same question I asked Russ. So what would you? So I'm just a dude on the street. Pictures, words. What is this? So what? I guess like mass media. Would you like IPs or something? Would you compare your books to kind of entice the person in front of your table at a convention to look at it?
I would say this: if you watch Ancient Aliens and you wish that all of that was real, or you maybe secretly do, and you kind of like the movie Taken, and you were really into 90s teen books like X-Men, then you should just give me your money now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very good.
See, you thought about it. You were obviously thinking about this for a while.
My superhero friend has a particular set of skills.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, there's that element of like kind of the main plot line is human trafficking, but the people being trafficked are superheroes. or people with powers. So it's like, and we just came up with an interesting way of why they have powers. It's based with the Nephilim and ancient aliens and all Greek mythology. Like all of those stories are in my world are just based on real life people that existed with tiny embellishments. But I guess in my world already, like my reality, I kind of believe that. So it just works out.
Guys, we've reached that magic hour. We've actually gone over it.
I guess we're having fun.
We've crossed that finish line and kept running around the track. Actually,
yeah. I guess we can end it. Does anyone want to say anything though? Have you, did you want to cuss anybody out before you go off the air? Is that
no, I think we did. We did a lot of that today.
We did some cussing today already.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, in passing, we want to note the passing, and to the people who say that we don't talk about Marvel or DC enough, we want to note the passing of David Anthony Kraft, who just passed from COVID-enhanced pneumonia. We give best condolences to his wife Jennifer and to his family and friends, and wish them the best at this time. There's going to be a memorial for him listed later, but Jennifer was just up on Facebook telling everybody that he passed last night. So he was for all you kids out there who are, sitting at the wrong table or sitting at a table eating the regurgitated food. David Anthony Kraft was a big writer at Marvel for many years, did a lot of notable stuff, big run on Defenders and a lot of other titles. So
a true craftsman.
Yes.
Russ, I need you to redo this piece.
That's not smooth enough.
Exactly. It's not smooth.
That's just because I was listening to Luke and just thinking, what's mine about? If you like cosmic nuts, just read my shit. That's
cosmic walnuts.
And I'm speaking directly to all that audience out there that happen to be a similar age to me. If you like the way Marvel and DC used to be, where they told long, tall tales about big, beautiful people kicking a crap out of each other in cosmic environments, then come and buy my books, okay?
That's an accurate depiction of your book.
Yeah, I'm never going to tell anybody not to buy my book, okay? Come buy it.
Please buy it.
This book is made for you.
You're gonna like it.
Russ and I both make books for you.
There you go.
Exactly. Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah, see this guy. This is these guys aren't realistic,
I
are
like
they?
the beautiful people duking it out in the cosmos. The way you worded it, it's like,
that's right. They're all gorgeous, even if they got skull faces.
Yeah, exactly.
Crap out of each other because good is better than bad.
There's somebody out there looking at death saying, "I'd do him."
Washers strapped to their face.
Don't call me out, Luke. You didn't need to do that.
Daphne's already on that shipping lane. You know it.
Where can they find you, Russ?
Where you can find me? You can find me on YouTube as Comic Book Black Belt, and on my YouTube channel, you'll find all my videos about my process and how I put books together for my own books, for Marvel, for BBC, for even Arrow Comics. There you go, because we'll be out later in the year with Only Death Can Save Us. You can find me live streaming on a Monday night. It's Monday evening in the US. And you can see me on Fulton Land over on Joe Fulton's channel on a Thursday, just after this, actually, or loitering around the Indie Vault channel. You can also find me on the internet as russleach.com or as comicbookblackbelt.com. You can find out more about the book, Only Death Can Save Us, onlydeathcansavus.com. There is a link there to the in demand. If you want to go and pick up the book now before it goes out to the direct market, it's the only place you can pick up the VIP version. You can also find me on the Twitter and the Fleece Book and all those kind of places as well. Come find me. I will chat to you about comic book art.
Delicious comic books. Delicious. Eat that nicely crushed pink paste. Luke Stone.
Yes, you can find me at lukestonestudios.com. That's Luke Stone Studios with 2 studios, plural. .com. You can find all of my social media, YouTube, the twatter. Is that what you called it?
The twatter, because there's lots of
twatter,
twats
the
on
twatter,
it.
and the fleece. Did you say the fleece
The
book?
fleece book, as it takes your money.
The sheep, or the fleece book. Yeah.
And
So
the
yeah, you
sheep,
can find me on all. You can find me on all those. You can even find some clips of me playing some guitar and things on there too. So it's a fun little site, and it's linked to the Indiegogo. So make sure you go over there, check out that Indiegogo. If you're on the fence about hybrids and you're not quite sure, get a hold of me, and I will give you some PDF samples that you can enjoy. Get your, get the taste. It's a gateway drug. So there you go.
I'm hooked.
All the best comics are.
Yeah, that's true.
Miss Lage.
Yes. Well, you can head over to my main portfolio site, eagleworks.com, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. But I mostly post to Facebook if you are into seeing sketches and current work in progress and whatever doodles I decide to brain dump onto it. Also, I have a YouTube channel where I try to do weekly art live streams. And mostly on Wednesdays. You can check that out. Again, the link is at eagleworks.com. And you can also read the first 5 issues of Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, for free in its original black and white format. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of like a Lord of the Rings adventure, running, jumping, skipping, climbing Mount Doom, you can head over to Tall Tales, TAILS online.com. and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And while you're there, sign up for our newsletter because I have a lot of campaigns in the pipe. Eagle Raven has less than 2 weeks left on Kickstarter. So yeah, sign up to be updated and get free PDFs of comics for you to taste as well. Although PDFs are not really edible, so I don't know.
Well, then you're not trying hard enough.
Right, exactly.
If you don't like PDFs, you just haven't prepared correctly. That's
right,
it.
Yeah, there you go. Little garbage.
I didn't make the PDF for you.
Didn't make this PDF for you.
Oh, it's horrible.
I thought PDF was like a multi-format. It was for everybody.
No, it's
yeah.
PDF isn't for you. CDF, that's right. Now it's for everybody. Torrent. Get some of those apples. Taste it. Sorry, I have it bad making like thrusting movement, and telling people to taste it. I don't know why I do that. Like, taste it. And it's like my wife is questioning me. She's like, that's
weird.
You didn't grow out of that in high school? I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm a man child. Taste. Randy, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on the Twitter under Randy Zimm. I'm not over there very often, but when I am, it's Randy Zimm with 2 M's. You can follow me over there if you want. I don't post very often, but you can follow me. Arrow Comics 4.0. On the other hand, you can find that on Facebook. Please go over there and like that page. We're doing all these announcements, showing off a lot of art over there. We're also on Instagram. We're on Twitter as Arrow Comics 4.0. We have a link tree where you can find all of those connections, including YouTube, where there's new content coming. Eventually, I'm just been in the middle of a bunch of stuff and haven't posted anything. Had a lot to say, just haven't had time to say it. And then you're going to find Varian, and you're going to find me back actually next Sunday or this Sunday at 9 a.m. on the Sunday Funnies. Maybe Varian will join me. We have Carlos Santini scheduled. He is a longtime producer and packager of works and has done a book called Rammer that is incredibly good and a lot of fun. Maybe Glenn Fleming, maybe Russ Leach will join us. Maybe Daphne will be there as well. And we'll talk about the lighter side and more fun side of funny books there. Then Varian and myself will be back Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for the live wire broadcast. And then again, next Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, and all these times are Eastern Standard Times. Join us again for another episode of the Breakfast Buzz.
Is Daphne doing unboxing? Is that what's going on?
I got my cards for Kickstarter to fulfill Kickstarters. Now I'm just waiting for that metal bookmark to come in.
And you do owe us those prints for the Revolt.
Oh yeah.
Shit, I forgot about that.
We want to thank everybody that backed that campaign. That campaign is closed. Indie Volt Revolt is done. The numbers are in. Sorry if you didn't order it, but you have missed out on some great stuff. And that book will be going to the printer incredibly soon. So stay tuned.
As for me, you can find me on Twitter Facebook, Reddit. Reddit.
Reddit.
I think you have an Indie Vote Discord. You can find me on Grindr, where I keep unfortunately matching with my stepdad. I don't
Plenty of
get
fish.
it.
My God.
Red tube.
Yeah, really. It's like,
Luke heard the
What
rest
was
of
that
that.
porno marketing again?
Luke
I
heard
was
the
kind
rest
of like
of that.
halfway paying attention to you, and then I was like, "Oh, you're set." Oh, that's
Yeah, this is
unfortunate.
not a show you sleep on. This
He
is
heard
like
the
you'll
rest of
wake
it.
up to people saying strange stuff.
I keep matching with my stepfather on there. I don't understand why that's happening. And he keeps asking me out. Anyway, so that's you can find me there. You can find me on also. I'll be back here.
Swipe left.
I'll be back here on you like never mind. I'll be back here on Sunday for special issues. We're gonna talk about some tough things in comics, some hard issues, probably upset some people. So be here for that. Also, Indie Votes Pitches Be Crazy Saturday, 2:30, featuring Brandon Gleckley, who you think that you never seen like a black guy with no hair. Like Brandon is he's given up the dream of having hair on his head. He's went completely bald. I told him he was actually becoming a more efficient human being. He was getting a solar panel in the back. And what was happening is that it was now he no longer. He was actually the son of a. He was. I was combing my hair, and he's like, your hair is falling out. Ha, it begins. And I'm like, no one in my family's bald, sir. This is just stress.
This is just the extra hair that I molt because I don't need it.
Yeah. And yours. His did a double whammy. Because he had like the Batman cowl going up for a second, like it was deep. The receding hairline was deep. It looked like Batman's ears on his mask. But then the panel on the back started, so it was like having one of those cars with the two sunroofs. It was going on the front, but in the back too, and it was opening up. And they were gonna meet in the middle and give him Mr. Burns, but they didn't. He cut it all off before then.
I figured at the age of 30 it would be far cooler to take the whole lot off than to look like I was trying to cover my bald head.
That's true.
With long strands.
Yeah,
I've cut all mine off. But yeah, he'll be here Saturday. I've done that. I've cut my hair off before. All of it wasn't totally bald, but he'll be here Saturday. So pick on him, call him bald when he's on the air. He likes that. Yeah. Hey, Baldy. And if you want to send any questions, IndieVote Live at indievote.com. Send those questions in there. I'll put them on the card, especially on Livewire, and we'll read them. Pops actually won Femme Finale. He was he guessed correctly who did it. It's Goblin Grimm.
Yeah.
It's the bear. Yeah. Is the creator of this book, the artist on it too. And
it's such a nice cover.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send it out to Pops tomorrow. So yeah, Pops won that. Stop asking. He was, as I said, anybody who tells me the first, when we do the Indie Vote, whoever I ask a weird question about the book, normally who did it, and whoever tells me first who's the creator of it, I send the book out to him. Same with we did that with Iva and us, and we did it with Femme Finale. Sometimes you got to watch Indie Vote to know. It might be a couple weeks old, but you got to know. I'll never do it with something like Ego Raven. Everybody knows who did that book. Everyone knows.
Yeah, I know.
But
that's good though. That means that my style is really my own.
I'll have to get something like weird, like, hey, who wrote this story? I have to pull up like some old stuff that Randy did. Yeah. So anyway, that's it for us, guys. Eric said it's a Monday show too. Yeah, well, it came from Webtoon. I know we're trying to figure out a new name for it, but it came from Webtoon. Monday at 9. I have missed the last 2 episodes. I've been my health has kept me off of the air, but hopefully I'll be back very soon to that show.
It came from the internets. Yes.
Yeah. It's a very quick show. I think it's 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. We keep
sometimes it's an entire hour. Sometimes.
Yeah. It's a very quick show. We look at indie comics that are on digital platforms and being dispersed by those digital platforms. Tapas, Webtoon, and a couple of others. What books you should be reading digitally, because they're normally free, usually. Well, someone will fix that real soon.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Advertiser friendly.
Yeah. Until then, guys, see us later. We'll see you later. See us later. We'll see you later.
We want to note also Liberty Entertainment Distribution at www.ledg.us. Let's not forget that. Retailers, that's a site you need to go to get up and sign up. All of the Arrow comics are going to be available exclusively through Liberty Entertainment Distribution until, I guess, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, they'll be there.
Even if Diamond begs. Hey,
that'll
be great.
And they'll be
Screw Diamond.
Yeah,
did we want to mention the awards at all?
No, I'm not gonna, because I got some announcements to make on that. It's nothing bad. It's all great, but do we want to mention how great Gemini mailers are? Yeah, if you're sending your books out in Gemini mailers, make sure you do so when you go to GeminiSupplyCompany.com or Gemini Comic Supply, GeminiComicSupply.com. Make sure you use coupon code VOLT10, VOLT10, VOLT10. Get yourself a discount on those Gemini mailers. I got a package from a known publisher the other day, and it wasn't a Gemini mailer. Yeah, it wasn't a Gemini mailer. It was like, did they make their own? Did they send? I mean, I could see them doing that, but they didn't even use it. They didn't. You think they would put their own branding on? They didn't. Let's get the real thing. Get the real thing.
I mean, here's the deal: if you're shipping out comic books and you're not using a Gemini mailer, you're just a wanker.
Yeah. And then you'll be mad that your comic is was it Gone to the Dogs? Is that it? Is that it, Russ? Gone to the Dogs?
Gone to the Dogs. That's an old saying. Wanker's quite relative.
Yeah.
Evergreen.
Evergreen abuse. Yeah, abuse.
I published a book for a while, and the gentleman was from the UK, and so there was some localization things I had to do. Like, we don't say that because it's comics based in America. I'm like, I gotta change that. So yeah, Gone to the Dogs, gone off. Things like the milk's gone off. What about the milk?
It's gone off.
Is it left?
Gone off.
Is it not in there? The milk's gone
off. Good Lord, man.
It's like the
and always and you know.
Get your milk and your Gemini box thing, yes, or you're a wanker.
and always remember, booty call and butt dialing are two different things.
Yeah, I'm still not sure what either of those things are. Anyway, I must confess.
I will end the show at this point. But remember this. The milk hasn't gone off. It's gone bad, like the milk in your mama's. Never mind. I will end it there. Good night, everybody. Have a great day.
Well,
goodbye.
Take care, everyone. Leave this industry in better shape than you found it, folks.
Right.
Yeah, das Vidania.